Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Primetime MMA 32. AM Adjust versus the Body Snatcher T-Drivers at 155 in the main event. In the co-main event, we have another lightweight bout between Karts and Kai. Joining me in the booth today is, as always, the boss man himself, Cyrez the Looney, and the commentator debutant, Mr. Humbledick. Boys, how we doing today?
Doing fantastic, brother. Glad to be back in the booth. Very, very excited to have the mighty Bane obviously in the comms with us, and of course the eagerly anticipated debut of Mr. Humbledick. Welcome to the comms booth in Primetime, brother.
Wow, what an introduction that is from Bane, and I am excited for this card. This is going to be an absolute banger, and I'm so happy to be here with you and Bane, Cyrus.
Yeah.
Couple fights to really break into before we start the preliminary ones. Have to say, Dale Denton versus Yeedicus, that one's on my radar nearing the top, but EK Issues versus Fatinator edges it out slightly in terms of my anticipation, Humbledick. Both of those matchups, each in very different weight classes, right? You got Fatinator versus the EK incumbent down at 135, Dale Denton versus Yeedicus, that's going to be contested at 170, so there's going to be a little bit of a stylistic difference, but those two are sure to deliver. Cyrus, I want to ask you real quick, are there any fights on this card that you are very much looking forward to?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, my man. There's a whole bunch of them. Towards the top end of the main card, we saw the contender, the number one contender previously out, TMF Ginger, putting on the Fight of the Year candidate up against current champion, obviously KM Adjust. He's going to be stepping up against BSD, Simply Benny, or Simple Benny, I should say. I think he's a new addition to the BSD camp as well, so I'm really interested to see what adjustments he's made to his game and how he's going to stack up against a dangerous opponent like Ginger. And a little bit further down the card, you got Louis up against God Ate My Pig. For anybody that has maybe not caught a couple of Louis' performances, he's an up-and-coming competitor within the scene. He's been using Chael Sonnen in basically every performance and doing fantastically well. But he's going to have his work cut out from him. God Ate My Pig is... he's an abuser on this game, man. He destroys people, whether it be on the feet, whether it be on the ground. He is an all-round threat there, Humble. I know that you're very familiar with the PlayStation side. Are there any of these guys that are standing out to yourself there, my man?
100%. On the prelims, we've got T4H Holloway, literally one of the best players in the world. I'm sure he's Xbox side as well, but he was a PlayStation member. He's part of my team, KIA, Killers in Action, and he's moved to Xbox. He's a fantastic player. He'll be fighting Crazy Dragon, which I know nothing about. Then yeah, I recognize some names here as well. You got Kevin Valentine, you got Chief Den, someone that comes to my channel a lot, and he's constantly, I've fought him so many times, he's constantly impressing me. That's going to be a good fight. I don't know his opponent too well, but as we go up the card, card. We've got some excellent fights, and especially the core main event, Karts versus KIAW. Obviously, you guys know KIAW very, very well. He makes great artwork and great videos, which I've seen, but Karts held me on the floor recently for 3 rounds with Max Holloway, and I couldn't move. So that's going to be a really interesting fight because they both got great grappling style, so I'm excited for that one. That core main event is a banger.
Will say one big thing to shout out is Nigel the Norwal. Big Prime subscription right there. Nigel will be facing off against Purple Urkel, one of the primetime favorites early on the prelims. Massive thank you to that. Again, all the support helps us put on bigger and better events. But Cyrus, I think we're ready to get into Primetime 32.
Hell yeah, my man. Hell yeah. First fight up is going to be the one of the very, very fan-friendly favorites, Rara Rasputin. He's going to be taking a step up against Boss Cannon, I believe his name is. I'm just, got a slightly different name on Discord, but yeah, obviously Rara's had ups and downs throughout his entire career of UFC 4 and Season 2 in particular, but been putting together some really, really good wins recently over some big-ass names. I mean, his last one was a knockout of the night contender up against Dale Denton. He is taking on, I believe, gentlemen, this is second performance, or maybe even his first within Primetime MMA. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. See how he stacks up against a veteran of the game like Rara, and see how he's able to employ his all-around game. And that's really important in UFC 4 there. Humble Dink, is making sure that you're a well-rounded fighter. You don't want to just be a one-trick pony, especially as you move up those competitive ladders.
100%. It is really important to mix up your game. You can't just go in with a striking base or a grappling base. You can if you're a specialist, but you're going to get caught out eventually, especially as you move up the rank. And some people are amazing at it. But what I noticed when these two were going in, it was 34 versus 35. That's no fluke. Usually the record can go like 3 against 4, etc. 34 versus 35 is very even. And we've got a Burns versus RDA matchup in as we start this fight.
Gilbert Dorino Burns in the red corner. Rafael Dos Anjos coming out of the blue corner. Dos Anjos, of course, the former lightweight champ, moving up. He is a southpaw. Gilbert Burns is an orthodox member. Big shot right there from RDA.
Lovely work. Yeah, he's trying to pick up from the outside. It's been one of the kind of areas that Rara Rasputin has struggled with in the past, is his outside fighting. Working with the AJS boys, he has a nice varied game now and has been able to mix it all together. Obviously has to be careful, though, they're humble. We know how hard Gilbert Burns hits, and RDA cannot take that damage.
Yeah, they're chopping the legs at the moment from the outside, just trying to find the range at the moment. Both guys, obviously tentative. They know each other very, very well. I'm looking for somebody to kind of fake their way into the pocket, looking for someone to try and get into there for the first exchange to see how that goes. And we see it right there as Boss Cannon lands a 1-2, 1-2 and a switch kick to the body bin.
These are just shots, trading action through the first several minutes. Have to say, RDA's hands looking impeccable in that phone booth range. Those hooks, Humble, have been landing on the chin of Burns. Burns getting backed up a lot more in this first round than I think Boss Cannon wants. He needs to move a bit more laterally, circle out, and be the aggressor. Great moment right there from RDA. Gets it down, Cyrus.
Yeah, and I was surprised he didn't jump on top of him. Maybe a little bit of an agreement. I think these guys are actually training partners outside of this. They, Rara had mentioned that he knows Shaun the Sheep, or Cannon, very, very well. Don't in his face, trying to maybe get in his teammate's head. You'd love to see it after some early success.
Yeah, you just like to see that sort of camaraderie. It's a game at the end of the day. We're going to here to entertain the audience. We're here to have fun. This is prime time. This is what we do. And we want to excite the audience. So a bit of showmanship. It always goes a long way, Ben. I love to see it.
2 minutes remain in this first round of Primetime MMA 32. Great respect shown by both competitors. One thing tactically that red corner might want to look a bit deeper into is the 90 body health of RDA. Big shot right there from Burns. You add that with the 92 cardio. If you assault the midsection, that cardiovascular system, you target it as this fight progresses, Humble, I would think that you would be having a lot more success.
Yeah, 100%. You got to hit that body. You can't just headhunt. It's so easy to move your head out the way. Not many people sidestep. Not many people use the correct movement to get away from them body shots. But as you see right there, going to the body sometimes gets you block countered or taken down. And now we got AJ's on top.
Yeah, he's doing great work here as well, Bane, or will be doing great work. You've got to imagine this is where his bread is buttered. Normally, he's looked fantastic in the striking realm, but normally when he gets his opponent down, they don't get up very quickly. But I was wrong on that one. He gets up nice and easily.
Statement made right there, easily getting up, but you can see a laceration on the forehead of Burns. Dorino busted open as we conclude the first set of 5 minutes. Have to think the former lightweight champion's going to have a quick 10-9 to start things off, but Burns, a lot of good success in different realms. Those takedown get-ups from the takedowns impressed. Maybe you can see big striking disparity as we approach the second round, Humble.
Yeah, that accuracy from AJ there is, well, AJ's camp there is absolutely incredible. Like 34 out of 35 strikes is insane. He literally landed every strike, and if you're not, he hit the block. So if you're Burns right now, you need to work on your movement. You need to be able to get in and out, or take him down. You Gilbert Burns, you should be going for submissions, takedowns, etc. You need to be able to utilize your character that you pick in the way you picked him. So for me, he needs to utilize Gilbert Burns a bit better and use his strengths.
Great check right there from RDA. Rafael impressing greatly through the first 5 minutes, Cyrus.
Yeah, he's doing fantastically, picking him apart from the outside. I think you're absolutely right there, Humble. He does need to make some adjustments on the side of the red corner. Gilbert Burns has a lot of power in those hands and being picked apart from the outside by Rara Rasputin. Maybe that forward pressure needs to go right now before he gets picked apart. Get that damage off as often as early as he can. Maybe test that chin of RDA as it, as it's been tested in the past.
Wow. The leg is.
Oh my gosh! Every time that Dorino thinks it's going to be a shot downstairs, that's a hook that catches the chin, and then the AJ's member mixes it up beautifully.
Nice.
Shot right there from Burns, though. Dorino gets it to the mat.
And now he's in guard. They see what he's going to do right here, and he goes for some lag right there, but he goes for the straight shot, and he's able to dodge it. Not much damage right there, but he needs a better position. I'd like to see him build his grappling advantage up here and try and pass into half guard, into side control, into he stands back up. Interesting. Very interesting, Cyrus.
Yeah, maybe he's just aware since they've obviously trained together quite a lot. Whoa, excellent check. I mean, the leg kicks and the checks are absolutely on point for Rara Rasputin. And considering that he normally gets his best work done on the ground, this has got to be concerning for his opponent. Eating all sorts of trouble already over the course of these first round and a half there, Bane.
Rafael took a big risk right there. Dorino almost capitalized, but just was a little too late to pull the trigger. Midway through this second round, it seems to be one-way traffic for the former lightweight king. I don't know, Burns really needs to change this approach in big ways. Eats a left hand right down the middle, Humble.
Yeah, there's not enough counter him coming in at the moment, from my opinion. Boss needs to find something, try and get wanted to throw something. And what you've got so far from AJ's Resented is he's fighting long. He's fighting really well long on the back foot, hitting the legs, putting the jab out there. Every time he comes in, he's punishing him, and that stops the takedown, that stops the pressure, and that also keeps your opponent out long. They can't get in the pocket, and they can't do the damage they need to do to try and score in that round.
Big kick right there in the pocket from Burns, but just nothing doing in terms of the damage. AJ's member has the block to sort of just wear all of these strikes, and now he goes for a takedown with just under a minute remaining.
Yeah, he's
point score one-on-one. Sorry.
No, you're fine, brother. He's doing fantastically well. He did that at the beginning of the first round, doing it at the end of the second round. Really, like you say, it scores points in the eyes of the judges if you went ahead already. Just, I mean, what a way to end out the round. Posturing up now, low stamina. Doesn't rain down the ground and pound like I was expecting, but now sinking in the arm triangle just for a couple of extra points. Not enough time to get that in.
Beautiful work, going for a submission right there. The control's not enough, right? The judges score it on damage and people who are trying to win. So going for a submission actually tells them that you're trying to win the fight. That's how you score in UFC 4. That's how you score in real life in the UFC as well. Obviously the judging sus on this game, Ben, but that's a great round, and you've got to think he's 2-0 up at the moment.
Absolutely, it is likely going to be these first two rounds going to RDA through 10 minutes. He just has had all the success in the world, but Burns was able to keep the striking a little less of a disparity. So I think 13 for Dorino. Oh, big spinning elbow right there from RDA. Now RDA pressing the action.
Straight some of the switch kick.
My God.
Dan Mergliata is watching this one close. Big left hand down the middle. Burns is hurt everywhere.
Oh, nice. He comes back, though.
Yeah, I mean...
Good work. Oh.
This is absolutely fantastic. Wow. Got to be careful not to get overzealous, but he's just mixing it up so well. To the legs, to the head. Jesus, Rara Rasputin is looking on fire tonight there.
It's just coming out one after the other. I like the pace. Oh, nice work to the body.
This is just domination in this third and final round. Will be interesting to see if RDA can get the finish. Burns right there with the takedown. 3 minutes and 20 seconds with which to work. Half guard posture up. This is a good position for him, but immediately out of it, Humble.
He's got a lot of gas tank as well to kind of unload here as well. He's doing a great job picking. I like his rhythm change he did. He was throwing 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then he started going 1, 1, 1. It was beautiful work, a beautiful switch up, and every single shot that he went 1 with, he caught him with. Excellent work right now from AJ's Resented, and he's having a great performance until that head kick right there.
And you can see that is the going for broke that Burns needs to do. He does have 95 punch power as well as decent kick counter kick speed, but you can't do it if you can't walk. That is a compromised left leg. Big strikes right here by RDA. Now he is just getting to work, Cyrus.
Yeah, just everything is absolutely picture perfect right now. Almost, pitching a perfect shutdown. That slam!
Plex City for RDA.
What a fight. What a performance so far from AJ's Resented. Great though. He's still trying though. You got to give Boss Cannon it. He's not giving up in this fight. He's still shooting for takedowns. He gets the side control right now, but he needs to do some damage. He needs to do something major to try and win this fight.
That was a beautiful get up right there. You don't see that animation occur too often, but that's just the player that Ra is. 1 minute and 16 seconds. Another left hand lands. RDA pressing it inside the pocket. Burns trying to fight with fire, but just nothing. Oh, big combination right there from Burns.
Yeah, that was a good combination, but then once again, I mean, Rara's done such a good job of mitigating the damage up until this point, going to the leg, going to the head, that oh my, that knee was very, very close. These are some good combinations. Not to land it up a little bit. This is what he needs there, Humble, but sits him down.
He gets here with a big overhand there, and now he's coming forward. I've got Uriah Fibers. Oh, he misses the flying knee, comes back with the right hand, and Gil Birds is putting it on the line. He may as well go all out here. You get knocked out or knockout. It's simple as that.
What a shot! Oh, big knee right there knocks down Dorino to conclude this third and final round through 15 minutes. This was all Rasputin. Have to think the former lightweight champion RDA will get the hand raised tonight against Gilbert Dorino Burns.
He pitched basically a shutout that entire fight, was obviously familiar with his opponent, has been putting the work in the lab. This man goes to the mountains each and every time for his training camp and comes back looking healthy. Look at the wrestling, the putting together with the outside strike and the pressure. Overall, Humble, that was a very, very impressive performance from Rara.
It was a very, very impressive performance, but I do have one criticism, and that is a finish. I'd like to see him try. He had his opponent hurt in the second round onwards. He's so much damage. He did so much damage. I'd like to see him put him out in that fight. In my opinion, he should have put him out, but nonetheless, it's a 30-27, maybe 30-26 performance, and it's a great performance from Rara.
Absolutely.
What a clean and tight domination again through the first 10 minutes. It was largely in RDA's favor. He edged those first 2 rounds incredibly clearly, in my opinion, but the blowout came in the final 5 minutes, and boy, Ra just really putting it to work. And you can see 30-26 across all scorecards, a unanimous thought. I believe 10-8 round would be that third, in my professional opinion, Humble.
Yeah, 100%. He did a lot of damage in that third round. That's why I wanted to kind of finish the fight. It's one of the issues with leg health events. You can kind of do. You can get like 12 of them before you get a finish. It's stupid on this game. But I know you know exactly what I'm speaking about right there, Cyrus. But, we move on to the next one. It's a great performance from Rara. And we're going to go to Crazy Dragon versus T4H Holloway. I know everybody in the chats can't wait to see Holloway perform. In my opinion, he's one of the best players, if not the best player in the world, especially since he's done it on PlayStation and Xbox. I'd like to see him compete at the top of the card, and maybe this is one of my predictions. This guy is going to be in for a title picture in the next lot of fights. Crazy Dragon can shut me up though, Ben.
Mr. Humbledink, you are talking a massive game for T4H Holloway. Let's see if he can back it up against an incredibly game competitor in Crazy Dragon. Down at 145, there is a lot of tantalizing matchups. Cyrus, have to think Crazy Dragon's going to bring everything he can against the T4H incumbent.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard great things, obviously, from everything that Humble's saying and just around the community as a whole from T4H Holloway. Obviously, by all accounts, seems to be an incredibly dangerous opponent that's stepping up now, obviously, in prime time. He is going against somebody, though, that I think maybe little bit slept on. Crazy Dragon is an absolute nightmare for anybody on this game. Incredibly well versed, able to do it on the ground, on the feet, all round. He does not play games. Always here for the finish. We've seen him come out and have absolutely fantastic performances start to finish there, and you know, you've got to imagine that you know, going into this one up against a big name there, Humble, like Holloway, that he's going to bring his A game. You've got to mind your P's and Q's when you're fighting up against somebody, you know, of that sort of caliber.
Well, this is going to be an interesting one for me because obviously I do not know much about the Xbox side. I do know a lot of names, but it helps when you're fighting people on the Xbox side, and obviously I don't have an Xbox, so I don't fight these people on a regular basis. I don't know too much, and actually I was speaking to Holloway recently and he said Xbox is harder than PlayStation, although I disagree. He seems to think so, so maybe this is a guy that's going to come out of the woodwork and absolutely annihilate Holloway. Who knows, or he's going to give him a good fight at least. This is going to be a great one. Great matchmaking from the guys in the truck. Let's get down to it. Let's get this fight up and running.
As we are right now, we are currently waiting for actually Holloway to cut the final pounds, it would seem, before we head into this match. We're going to give him a couple of extra seconds to see if we can get him in the cage there. If not, we will maybe skip across to the next one until that man is able to shed those extra pounds. But yeah,
he must be working with Kelvin Gastelum's nutritionist if that's the case. Really bringing it down to the wire is T4H Holloway. 145 is a tough division to get to for some people, Humble.
100%. I'm just messaging him right now while you guys are speaking just to make sure he's around and doing stuff because I've got him personally on Facebook. But yeah, hopefully Holloway makes it because I can't just speak that highly and big someone up that much without him showing up. So hopefully he makes the skills right there. Otherwise we'll be moving on to Purple. I can never say this guy's name. You could probably
Urkel.
Yes, so Purple Urkel. I'll never forget it now.
Purple Urkel,
I will always have to bring up, and Cyrez knows exactly what I'm about to say, Purple Urkel versus Magical Cloud. I do not recall which event that was contested on, but it was a Conor McGregor versus Max Blessed Holloway down at 145. The first exchange, 30 seconds into the fight, Max Holloway gets decapitated by a massive lead uppercut. That is the impression that Purple Urkel leaves when he enters the primetime octagon.
Yeah, he is an absolute savage, my man. I mean, you see this guy when he gets his work done, when he's on form, which is more often than not, he comes out of those gates very, very quickly, and you know, he's a very fan-friendly favorite just due to the striking style that he has and his ability to finish. You know, you were calling for a moment ago there, Mr. Humble. This man knows how to finish, and he knows how to finish quickly.
Yes, it's an underrated strategy. It's an underrated skill on this game. A lot of people are great at causing the damage and inflicting damage on this game, but not a lot of people are killers. And when I say killers, I mean they don't finish their opponent in a certain combination. They don't have a certain strategy for getting their opponent out of there. And the people that do, the people are at the top, the people you watch in the best in the ESFL stuff, you get one opportunity with them, and if they hurt you, usually they finish you. They know exactly what you're going to do when you're hurt, and they have a combination for each of those outcomes that they've already got that information before they even threw it. And that's something that's gained over time with the knowledge, and that's what I look for in great fighters. And maybe Purple Urkel will be able to do that today, but I don't know nothing about Nigel the Norwell, but apart from his amazing name, can you tell me something about him, Cyrus?
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's been talking himself up quite a bit. He's had one performance previously, was able to get the W in that one. Still relatively new to the scene, and obviously coming through in a big way in his last outing. So this one being the light heavyweight division there, Mr. Humble, you know, I think that you're absolutely right. The killer instinct that you need in order to be, you know, to have a success, it is an underrated tool that a lot of people maybe haven't worked on. A lot of people try to conserve their stamina, make sure that they have it for the full 3 rounds. Having you know, these heavy hitters in the light heavyweight division, you know, especially with the killer instinct of somebody like Purple Urkel, Nigel's going to have to be aware of that and potentially even look for it himself. You've got to know when to push your opponent and when to back off, and these guys, at least in their previous performances, have been able to show just that. We are going to, just as a very quick update, we are actually going to move on to that fight for right now. Okay. We will see, obviously, if Holloway comes back before the end of the prelims, but for right now, light heavyweight is the weight class. Looks like we're going to be having Jiri Prochazka, can't say his last name, I do apologize, up against John Jones by the looks of things. Should be a fun one there, Bane.
Absolutely, and that's a great stylistic matchup. When you think about John Bones Jones, he's incredibly versatile and technical at 205. Again, kickboxer is the category that they've got him in, the former light heavyweight king. But Yuri Prochazka, I believe his nickname is Denise Humble, maybe correct me there. That guy has got hands for days. The power on Prochazka is something to be feared for anybody, including John Bones Jones.
Now, I can't correct you on his nickname because I don't know it, but I do know some stuff about this guy. I'm sure he's the M1 Global Champion. He was an amazing Russian fighter. He got offered a UFC contract years before he actually came to the UFC because he turned it down because he said he wasn't ready, and he went on a mad win streak over there. He studies, I can't remember the actual thing's called, but it's all about being spiritual and all about being a free spirit. He does not care. It's the art of war. He will throw random techniques, and hopefully we're going to see that right now against John Bones Jones.
Big midsection work right there from Purple Urkel to open things off. Prochazka with the spinning elbow attempt. Now another jumping spinning kick to the midsection. Purple Urkel going airborne early. We'll say, statistically, 96 punching power for Prochazka, 87 for John Bones Jones. Big disparity right there, Cyrus.
Wow, I did not know that John Bones Jones only had the 87 power, but yeah, Nigel with Jerry is going to be, having heaters in those hands if he's able to continue to get in the face, maybe avoid some of those knees and elbows there, Humble. It may be a quick night. John Jones has some problems when you get in the pocket with him.
Well, he's the thing, so does Yuri. Yuri has all these spinning elbows, he has all the knees, he has all the stuff. But if I'm looking for an advantage right now, if I'm Yuri Prochazka, I can never say his name, Yuri Prochazka, I cannot say that. I'm going to say just Yuri. I'm looking for the hands. The hands of John Bones Jones aren't the best. He's long, lanky, he doesn't throw them quite well. They're kind of a bit slow, so I'm looking to try and gain his face. I'm looking to try and hurt him. And when he tries to load up on them knees, elbows, kicks, that's when I want to try and double up my jab and hurt him.
Some gamesmanship from Nigel right there, extending the arms, welcoming the challenge of Purple Urkel. You can see Urkel is fighting long, trying to stay at range, utilize the slight reach advantage of Bones, but Prochazka inside the pocket. You can see the head health on Purple Urkel is just, every time he gets touched, there is a very significant impact. Purple Urkel right there, spinning and winning once again.
If he's able to continue to maintain some range, he may have some success. I have to say, though, Nigel has been doing a really good job of moving head movement. I've noticed a lot of people doing that recently as they're entering the pocket, using some of that head movement as they're moving to, kind of evade some of the straight shots that are often coming the way. And it's really, really doing a good job of getting into the pocket for him so far there, Humble, although those back kicks are really starting to add up for Purple.
Yeah, he needs to come up with. I do know some solutions for this, but he needs to come up with some solutions to try and get away from them straight attacks at the moment, especially with John Bones Jones. A lot of his attacks come down the middle, so any sort of defense you've got against that, you need to utilize that against Purple Urkel right now, and that might be one of them right there, Ben.
Interesting. 3.5-star grappling on Prochazka, 4.5 for the former light heavyweight champion. We're seeing a submission attempt right now. The defense of Prochazka appears to be solid, but Purple Urkel is known to get the submission from behind. Will he get the slam? Yes, Yuri putting Bones back to the canvas.
Nice work. He's now took side control. He needs to do some damage right now. John Bones Jones is good off his back, and he's also obviously better on top. You don't want to get elbowed by him, but Yuri's not the best off his back or on top, so it's an interesting strategy that I see from him, Cyrus.
Yeah, it's oh, sorry, I was going to say that stuff like that, maybe tying him up a little bit. The longer that this fight goes, I feel like the more it's going to go in the favor of Purple Urkel. We've seen a really, really good start from Nigel, although having a little bit of an issue with those spin kicks to the body. They're adding up so nicely that that stamina is really, really going to start to take a bit of a hit as this fight continues on there, Ben.
It really is. You're bringing up a great point. The spinning attempts have been landing significantly throughout the first 5 minutes, and you can see the cardiovascular system of that mixed martial artist in the red corner is getting tested, breathing heavily as he's getting back to the stool. I mean, that guy is looking labored as we are approaching round 2, but we'll say in terms of health stats, 94 cardio for Prochazka and 96 recovery. He will be coming off the stool a little fresher, but not as fresh as John Bones Jones.
As we look to the actual chat that we've got going on at the moment, Ripper said them spinning kicks are lovely. You are right, Ripper. Great streamer in the UFC community. As we move forward, I'm looking for Nigel to kind of avoid them kicks. Really, he needs to do something to kind of get out the way of them spin kicks. At the same time, Purple Urkel does amazing damage with the spinning back into the body right there. Cyrus.
Yeah, it's just adding up so nicely. He's timing them well. Nice knees from Nigel now, just starting to get a little bit aggressive with it, deciding to throw caution to the wind and trying to get that damage off as heavily as he can. But Purple just looking a little bit more technical right now, and it seems to be playing dividends for him, Bane, over the course of that, opening 7 minutes or so.
He just cannot seem to miss with those spinning attempts. We'd love to see him potentially go high with one of them, because it seems like that might be the opening, right? Humble, you get your opponent thinking that you're going to be dedicating yourself to the midsection, brutalizing those baby back ribs, as we always love to do, and then you catch him to the chin with one, and that's the one that'll put him down. We'll say Yuri needs to step into the pocket a bit more, utilize that power that he has. You can see every time there is a clinch exchange or entry, Purple Urkel is getting the worst of it. Nigel needs to be the aggressor and needs to get in the face of John Bones Jones.
I think he's doing a great job at the moment. I'll tell you why. If you look at the damage that he's done, he's actually done a lot more damage to the body, to the head, to the legs. At the moment, Purple Urkel is not, even though he's got the stamina advantage, he's not winning the damage battle. The damage is definitely going to Yuri and Nigel. If I'm Nigel right now, I just keep doing what I'm doing. Eventually, this is going to happen because he can't keep taking them shots. Cyrus.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Humble. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't quite catch the statistics at first, but you bring an excellent point to it. The damage is really starting to add up to the body, to the leg, and to the head. He hasn't discriminated. That was a big miss for him. Able to stop the counter, which was vital. That body could have been absolutely destroyed, Bane, if it was able to land.
Absolutely, and now you can see Prochazka pushing the and moving forward. Massive knee right there, knocks down Bones. 90 seconds with which to work, and this is not looking good for Purple Urkel. Urkel needs to move out of the pocket, and he needs to do it yesterday. Big lead head kick right there, touches the head of Prochazka. Now Prochazka is stunned.
It's gone back to him as well. This is back and forth at the moment, this round. Both guys fighting for territory at the moment. I think Nigel's got to conserve some energy going into that third round. I believe he's ahead, but who knows? He can't take many of them. He needs to find a way now. I can't suggest anything, but he's just going to spin it back into the body again, Cyrus, and a head kick.
It's all starting to add up. I mean, back and forth, both guys fighting for every inch, and Fury gets the spinning elbow.
1-2 head kick not there. Now Nigel is gasping for breath as this second round concludes. You can see the body health on both gentlemen is very low. Nigel, though, a bit lower, takes another shot. Now he shoots to conclude the second round. 10 minutes of fire at 2:05, Humble.
Wow, what a round. Who the hell do we give that one to? Now, there was rocks and the body health events on both sides. I do believe G was winning the start of the round, but then Jones came back and started catching him. It's a close one. I like to see the stats here. Look at that.
Oh my.
It's so close.
It
It's so
really
close.
is. One extra stun in it there, being just a little tiny edge to John Jones. I didn't get to see the total strikes. I don't know if you did there, brother.
The fight is up for grabs. Third and final round at light heavyweight. Will Prochazka get the hand raised, or can John Bones Jones down again as the former champion? Here comes Nigel. Nigel inside the pocket, throwing some feints, gasses himself out right there, Humble.
Nice work. I think he's landing them spinning back kicks though at will at the moment, and Nigel's still not come up with a way to kind of avoid that. I will tell him after the fight how to get away from that one, but at the moment he's struggling big time, and he gets caught getting to the back kick to the body and a head kick.
Oh, that is the mixing up that I am talking about. Purple Urkel needs to do that a bit more. Go low, go high. And you can see that is what Nigel is trying to do. Big knee right there. The head is now the body of Purple Urkel. Here comes Prochazka inside the pocket. Phone booth action. This could be it. Bones is down. Now Prochazka lets him back up.
Elbow comes back through. He's just wild at the moment. He's got no energy. He's throwing an S. He's throwing the S of the stamina of Cyrus. He still managed to damage. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow. Now he should survive this, but look at that. Look at the ground and pound of Bones.
Oh my God.
Beautiful work. The head health of Nigel was very high, able to survive that one, but not out of the woods yet. There, Humble finds himself now on bottom guard. See if he's going to be able to work his way back to his feet, and he does.
Yeah, I expect Sorry, but I expected Nigel to kind of be comfortable with maybe winning 2 rounds and kind of keep his distance, but no, he just keeps throwing, he keeps going forward, he keeps walking into stuff, and at the moment, John Bones Jones just missed a big kick.
And that's the counter that you were looking for, right, Humble? He needs to circle in that direction, lands the big front kick through the face, and pushing forward, Bane. This man is all action, no quitting him at all.
John Bones Jones is severely debilitated downstairs, but so is Prochazka. Nigel just does not have the stamina to really conclude these combinations and get Bones out of there. Purple Urkel gets it to the ground, just over 90 seconds remaining, and he progresses. And a half card does get the posture up. Yes, he does.
Is he going to go at the body? He is, and he already knew that, but he gets back up, realizes he's wasting enough stamina there. He could have got reversed. Sorry, Cyrus got.
Oh, you can see right there, I was about to say he was going to go for the spinning kick, and Prochazka now level changes and stops it. Big kick lands! Purple Urkel stunned!
Feet to the body. No stamina, though. That's where the issue comes, and the body kicks keep landing a big dividends. These guys are thrown with nothing left right now, Ben.
This is just elite material on the feet from both competitors. And you can see right there, Prochazka gets out of the way, but Nigel just does not have the stamina, Cyrus.
No, that was a little bit frustrating for him. I'm sure now finds himself in the clinch. John Jones in a little bit of a fresher spot, coming the stamina, but these sidesteps doing him great. That time he hits the counter, Humble. Now pressing forward and...
Oh, this could be it. 10 seconds, one more strike. Can Prochazka find the finish, or will Urkel once again go to the body? Yes, he does. Wow.
I can't believe that fight.
How do you score this one?
I can't believe that fight didn't end up in a finish. I cannot believe that fight did.
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
That fight didn't end in a finish. Like, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Right. I've give it to Yuri. I don't know about you guys, but I give it to Yuri mainly based on damage. I think that he did a bit more to the head, to the body. He landed a bit more, but it could go either way, in my opinion, Cyrus.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, but as we've said in the past, the judges are probably the most accurate part of the game, wildly inconsistent, and you never know which way they're going to go, and especially in a very, very close fight like that one, Bane, it's tough to call, brother. It's really tough to call.
I think Prochazka did have the edge, I think, in numbers, but Bones may have had the... Yeah, there it is!
There it is.
Yuri Prochazka, Nigel the Narwhal gets the decision over fan favorite Purple Urkel. 205 action goes to the red corner.
Beautiful, beautiful fight, guys. I do just want to jump in for you. There was a fill-in from the last one. Holloway was not able to cut the weight. The tiramisu was a little bit too much, but in this one, we're going to be having a short notice replacement. Now, the man in the back that you obviously put together all of these fights for yourself, along with the likes of Tad and the such, but Doctor Who, the Damian Maya main, stepping forward up against Crazy Dragon. This should make for a very, very interesting bout, and these guys are very familiar with each other as well.
Nice. This is going to be a very interesting one. I just want to go back to the last one before we move ahead. I just want to let everyone know there's a kind of a way you can get away from that. A little bit of humble tip right here. There is such thing as called a sidestep on this game. If you move your left analog stick and you just flick it up or flick it down, you will avoid straight attacks. So when someone's actually trying to hit you with a spinning back kicks to the body or hit you with something like that, you can sidestep out of the way without lunging or major lunging and put yourself in danger. Just a quick tip for everybody out there listening.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And just to kind of add on top of that, just circling towards the power hand on those spins will make all of those spinning attacks to the body miss entirely, sets you up beautifully for a counter, and like you say, that's an excellent way to be able to adjust it. So Humble's coming out with the lessons today for sure, my man. This one though will be in featherweight, Bane. Going to be Anthony Pettis up against Zabit Magomed Sharipov. Very, very interesting stylistic matchups. Doc is predominantly a grappler, but the man's got some hands as well. But Crazy Dragon with the Anthony Pettis pick, obviously looking to get a little bit loosey-goosey with this one.
Ooh, I like
absolutely. You have to think Showtime's going to bring that Taekwondo, but Zabit Magomed Sharipov has the edge, in my opinion, with the creativity. Showtime mixes it up so well, but Zabit just has such an interesting arsenal of strikes that he can unpack at any time, but I will contest this. The cardio of Zabit is the #1 known thing about him. It fails him after a certain point in time. If I am Anthony Showtime Pettis, Humble, guess what I'm going to do? I'm assaulting that body early.
It's exactly the same. They're a very similar matchup, to be honest. I use Pettis religiously. I'm a head kick artist. It's what I do. So Pettis is one of my main characters that I use. I know every single combination that he's got. And the way you use Pettis is singular strikes. If you start to bounce up on your combos, you're going to waste the stamina just like Zabit. So this is going to be an interesting one, how both men approach this, just because they have very similar styles with a lot of the same techniques as well.
Herb Dean, third man in the octagon to get us started. Showtime in the blue shorts, Zabit in the black. You can see ripping to the body early is Pettis. Crazy Dragon understands that stamina deficiency. The short notice replacement, Doc, getting it done inside the pocket as well.
Nice work right there, using the hands. That's what I like to see with Pettis players. Like, a lot of people open up with kicks a lot of the time. Use your hands. Your hands set up your kicks set up your hands. You've got to mix it up right there. But we're seeing Magomed Sharapov, a doctor, taking him down right now, and now he's in the guard. He gets denied for the posture up, Cyrus.
Oh, rubber guard for Showtime.
Nice work. Goes passes from Magomed Sharapov. He's now in half guard. He denies the back take. Goes to top mount. Can he do some damage right now?
Top control is 92 for Zabit. Showtime's bottom control is 91, so relatively even in these positions. But you can see Zabit just sliding through and effortlessly keeping that top mount, which is notoriously difficult, Cyrus.
Yeah, it really is. That's an excellent reversal from Crazy Dragon, though. I was about to say Doctor Who is one of the better players that you're going to come across on the ground. He really, takes his time and puts it all together down there, but that was perfect from Pettis, and now he's back in the striking realm, Humble, which is definitely where he's going to want to be, although Doc is landing some good shots on the inside.
Yeah, one of the attributes of Pettis is he's actually really good off his back. He's like Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is better off his back than he is on top. Same as Pettis. They both have rubber guard, both have a lot of submissions, and famously finished Benson Henderson off his back with an armbar. So these guys know what they're doing off the back, and clearly these are great players right now.
Seems committed to that grappling attack there, Bane. You've got to love to see the mixing in of the different takedown attempts that he's doing. Gets that lovely trip and now finds himself straight back in the full guard, taking his time. Although he has to be careful of the rubber guard, as Humble alluded.
Half guard right there now for Zabit. Have to think these short shots on the inside don't have a lot of flavor or seasoning necessarily to them, but they do pack a bit of a punch if this fight goes to a decision. In terms of the strike counts, Zabit getting some numbers, but now Showtime reversing the position right into top mount.
Oh. Now they mean something. These posture ups, these big damaging blows that you're getting from the top, even hurting the block guard because you're in mount. When you go for that, you're going to do some damage to the guard, but he goes for a leg lock from mount there. This is going to be hard to get, to be honest, but he might get a breakout, Cyrus.
Yeah, he very well maybe. I think if it gets late enough, does it not end up in top mount? It doesn't look like it's going that way this time. Straight back to the feet.
Yeah, you can cancel that after the first transition and literally get a breakout. As long as you get it, if you cancel it straight away, you literally get up. It's a way I usually get up from mount with players that don't block it.
Well, that's interesting to know, brother. I'll definitely be looking for that in future.
Look at the head health on Doctor Who, taking some shots a little bit in this first round. Zabit, oh my gosh, rather Zabit taking some shots to the chin. Yeah. Interesting. Oh!
No. Nice shot to the body right there. He's sitting back. And what a first round we have right there, boys. Cyrus, it was an interesting one. I do give it to Pettis. I don't like to be a judge, but I always like to give a little score, a little running commentary of who I think's winning that fight. But I do think that Pettis landed the majority, but I'm completely wrong according to the score, to the stats, and that's why we're not judges.
Yeah, no, it's hard to judge it when you're calling it, right, Bane? And I mean, the all-round work there, and I think the takedowns were probably the biggest decider in that one, able to set up some of the hands that he was able to get going as well. And, obviously when you've got somebody in on your legs, very, very quickly, it really does start to drop your guard and sets up those headshots, really, really effectively.
We got Ripper in the chat calling out Doctor there for going to the ground and pound. Oh, you get blocked. Sorry, Ben, go on.
Already, Anthony Pettis really pressuring early in the second round. Zabit gets the judo throw over the hip, though.
Nice hip toss right there. Now he's got the side saddle position, rolls to the backside. Is he going to get the backside? And he does in this position.
This is honestly where Doc does his best work, and I've been in this position myself, fighting Doc on many cards in the past. It's a very frustrating style to play against. When he gets going in this grappling kind of realm, he causes a lot of problems, but the rubber guard is there, not able to hold it though, although he is continuing to buck to that, which is got to be a little bit concerning for Doctor.
Yeah, the rubber guard sets up other transition as well, is what you've got to really capitalize on if you're a rubber guard player, is using the other positions, because they're worried about the rubber guard to kind of for your advantage, basically. Can I get a quick update on what submissions are banned in prime time? Sorry, just so the audience know, and so I can kind of capitalize myself, because I don't actually quite know which submissions are banned.
Yes,
in prime
sir.
time,
No worries at all. That will be the standing guillotine, the back-sitting R&C, side saddle arm triangle, windshield wiper choke, and the mounted go-go plata. Basically, Primetime MMA is going to be following the ESFL competitive rules as they continue to be progressed. These guys, obviously, a lot of them looking for their call-ups if they haven't had them already, and we want these guys to be as ready as they can be for those rule sets as they continue to go forward.
Doctor Who with the Doctor Dominance, kind of delivering a syringe of pain to the jaw of Crazy Dragon with that ground and pound. Now halfway through this second round, have to think the story of this one at 145 is the control time of Magomed Cherry Pop.
Nice work right there. You just blocked him. Yeah, it's beautiful work blocking them transitions. This can get super frustrating if you're on the back for a long period of time. You just can't move. You're moving from transition to transition, but they keep getting to mount and then doing some damage. It just becomes suffocating. It becomes annoying, and it's where you make more mistakes. It's like a landslide, Cyrus.
It really is, and the thing that Doc does kind of really well on the ground is he doesn't often just continue to throw and allow people easy get-ups. He'll throw 2 or 3 strikes and then posture down himself. I was going to say, though, Doc, before this, for the last week or two, is saying that he is having some problems with his hands. There's a big spin kick from Crazy Dragon, now pushing forward for the finish, but gets rocked.
Here we go. Firing back.
Knocks Showtime down. This could be it. Crazy Dragon in a world of trouble. Zabit with a little bit of ground and pound, but now just in this sort of position. Can Showtime reverse it? Yes, he can, Humble.
Nice work, and look at these two trading transitions backwards and forwards. Pettis doesn't have the best stamina. It's something I've noticed. We talked about it earlier on. Ben, you mentioned it was a beat. Doctor Who has done a fantastic job maintaining that stamina throughout, going into the third round, and you've got to say, even though he's being rocked, he's going to have a good position to go forward and try and finish the fight in the third round.
Absolutely. Final 5 minutes remain. You can see the second round striking statistics largely in Zabit's favor, but 2 stuns are in Pettis's pocket. Have to think, right? Showtime can make it happen, but the consistency through the first 10 minutes has been Doctor Who. Herb Dean gets us started for the third and final round.
There's not much damage at the moment on Showtime. Like, his head health's fine, his body's fine. Doctor Who looks like he's got a bit of a bad head, but he did get dropped in that second round, and you've got to think you lost it. Going into this one, he's got to maintain the stamina first of all and use that point fighting. Something we've seen in that RDA fight earlier on is keep long. Try and keep your opponent at the end of your shots.
If you've got that reach advantage, Ben, you've got to make sure that you're utilizing it. Obviously, we know that Zabit has those long-ass kicks and may be able to outrange his opponent, but the committed ground attacks from Doctor Who are going to play some dividends as the fight goes on, just based on the stamina drain that he's able to get off throughout the course of these opening 2 rounds.
Completely. And because this fight has largely taken place in the grappling domain, you can see that each competitor's stamina is not entirely as debilitated as it could have been, right? Not a lot of strikes to the midsection on the feet, which typically do the most damage to that cardio, but still, this is exhausting mentally for each combatant, right? Getting controlled so much has to be playing into the mind of Crazy Dragon, Humble.
Yeah, Crazy Dragon at the moment's kind of he gets the reversal right there. He's going to end up in guard right now. But what I was going to say is every time he lands in a position, he constantly moves, just like the posture up right there. He needs to learn how to build his grappling advantage up before he moves. One of the things about good players is they will predict your pattern early in a fight and then use that against you later in a fight. So when you constantly move, they will just predict that you're going to go one way and get a quick reversal on you.
Big 1-2 right there from Doctor Who. Now Showtime has to make something big happen midway through this third and final round. Have to think he's down 2 rounds. Needs a stoppage.
Nice work. He takes the back, gets slammed right there though. And there's a beat. Obviously the brain naked choke from the back sitting is banned, so you can't really go for that. So that limits your options, but at the same time, control time. He's already winning. He's doing a great job at the moment of just neutralizing his opponent.
Yeah, that second round was a big one for Crazy Dragon with the knockdown, but first and third seeming to go the way of the Doctor. This grappling heavy routine that he's employing seems to be playing dividends for him, and he seems to be really settling into the positions now there, Bane, getting quite a few denials off and starting to secure them more and more as this time ticks down.
This is do or die for Showtime. Just over 60 seconds remain. He needs to transition out of this, get back to the feet, and get something going. Magomed Sharipov takes the back once more. You can see Pettis desperate, but not able to get out of this one. Back sitting for Zabit, as we all know, a dangerous place to be, Humble.
Yeah, that's the problem with trying to, when you're in this position, when someone's beating you, they know that you need to get up, and then they use that against you with slams and takedowns. They're just basically riding you. Nice turn there. He needs to do some damage right now. He needs to try and win the round in this exchange right here, or stand up and try and do some damage, but he's got 10 seconds left, and it looks like Doc's going to learn his back, and that's a smart thing to do right there.
It really, really is. Like, some people may poo-poo that, but, you know, it's the intelligent game plan. He's probably picked up the W as a result, rather than standing up to your feet and maybe eating one of those Showtime flying knees or spinning attacks that, you know, can sit you on your ass real quick.
Yeah,
100%. Really beautiful work inside that clinch range to get it to the ground for Zabit Magomed Sharipov. You can see suplexes, trips, judo throws, mixing it up beautifully is Doctor Who again on short notice. Herb Dean likely going to be raising the blue corner's hand tonight. Showtime unable to get it done. Crazy Dragon will have to assess the takedown defense. Doctor Who impressing greatly.
Literally came straight out of surgery as well. Late notice fight, came out of surgery and just prescribed a little loss right there to Crazy Dragon. Great fight from Doctor Who. As we see him move forward, that was an impressive performance, Cyrus.
It really was. It really was. On short notice, cannot, like I say, cannot poo-poo it. He needed to kind of really assess this fight properly. Knew that Crazy Dragon was a very, very dangerous threat on the feet. Did not want to mix it up there, especially since he had mentioned prior to the fight that he had been having some issues on the feet leading up to the to this late replacement fight. So really committing to that ground game with somebody like Zabit. Lots and lots of takedown options from him. Was doing a great job of mixing it all together, and like you said, able to secure that victory in a pretty dominant fashion. Other than that kind of risque moment in the second round there, Bane.
Will say Chieftain in the Twitch chat commenting about another decision. This Primetime MMA 32 card has been full of fights going the distance, but each one, in my opinion, has delivered, and this next one is sure to follow suit. The first Kingsman making an appearance, KM Valentine, a commentator, versus the body snatcher JT, down at 135, Humble.
Now, I've heard a lot about both of these guys. I do know a bit about Valentine because I do know that he's part of Primetime's staff, and I also know he's a streamer. Am I right there, Cyrus?
You are right, my man. You are right. He's currently out in Barbados, living life to its fullest. This man is out, in the sun, soaking it up, still putting the work in the gym, though. Looking to do it in bantamweight as well, which is a really fun weight class. There's so many picks down here, Humble, that you can really display any style of game that you want. But although knowing these guys, it's probably going to be a striking fight.
What we like to see, a good striking match. One of my favorite weight classes is bantamweight. Is every fighter on the limit? Can you pick any fighter in prime time?
You can, sir. You can. That's right. Any fighter. Any fighter in any weight that's prescribed to you.
Amazing. So obviously you got Rob Font, you got Peter Yan, you got so many different characters. Joe Saldo, Sean O'Malley, who's due an update, by the way. It's going to be incredible when he does get updated because he's going to be up there with the boys. But one of my favorites in this weight class, Rob Font. Let's see who these guys pick, because otherwise we're just going out.
Have to reference the official betting line submissions closing in several seconds. 100% of the pot going to the Kingsman. 8,000 channel points on the line. The body snatcher netting none. Massive underdog coming into this one against the Kingsman. KM Valentine going with Cody Nola of Garbrandt. Aljamain Funkmaster Sterling on the other side. This will truly be a bit of a striker versus grappler matchup, but Aljamain Sterling will be met with the experience that Cody Garbrandt has on the wrestling front, at least I believe, Humble.
Yeah, the Aljamain Sterling is quirky, to say the least. He has a lot of different strange combinations, including the spinning back kick to the head, which we all know is kind of broken at the moment, but the knees, the elbows, the crane kicks, he's got a lot of different stuff, and that's how you have to play. You can't stand in the pocket with Cody Garbrandt, otherwise you are getting slept. Maybe you'll prove me wrong, Cyrus, but
Yeah, I think you're right, my man. He's got hands for days, and KM Valentine probably he trains with one of the best Cody Garbrandts in the game in I'm Called cold-blooded, utilizing the boxing perfectly, the head movement, the lunging strikes, knows how to manage that distance, and doing a great job of starting to land some hands early there, Bane. Obviously, as you mentioned, though, has to be a little bit careful of that takedown. Does not want to find himself on the back with Cody Garbrandt.
That is exactly what I believe Aljamain Sterling needs to do. Utilize what we saw earlier, doing the jumping, spinning attack the body, right? Take No Love's cardio away. Every single exchange with Garbrandt on the feet is lethal and dangerous. But you can see right there, Sterling landing the pocket. Sterling has 87 punch power. Compare that to the 98 of Cody No Love Garbrandt. This is dangerous in the phone booth for the Funk Master.
You've got two options here. You can kind of press your opponent and try and get them in clinch, try and get them down with over-committing, I should say, or you can kind of try and let your opponent press you, depending if they're going to come forward consistently or try and move in and out. That's where the difficulty comes at the moment. Valentine doing a fantastic job of backing up when he needs to.
The in and out maybe giving the Funk Master a little bit of problem so far. Nice overhead, nice head kick from him. Starting to get loose with those strikes there, Bane. And I think that's exactly what he needs, is to get a little bit unorthodox on the feet in order to set up everything else that he brings to the table.
Could not agree with you more, Cyrez, right? Get creative, get loose, land, not with power, but consistency. Volume striking. Oh, big miss right there. Garbrandt almost capitalized. KM Valentine could have cleaned the clock quite quickly of the BSD member. Will say, midway through this first round, Aljamain Sterling is impressing me with he's able to stand and trade with the former bantamweight champion.
Nice work, though, right there from Valentine. He starts to unload on his opponent. I was getting a bit worried that Valentine was becoming, he's in danger of mirroring his opponent, throwing the 1-2 strikes, throwing the spinning kicks, doing stuff like that. Cody Garbrandt's power is in his hands. He needs to, in my opinion, go forward, try and press his opponent, and then try and land some consistent combinations with his hands. But then he unloads on JT's head with a beautiful combination, and now we're back and forth again.
We'll say each guy has 88 blocking across the board, so the forearms on both sides of this equation aren't able to really block too much. So even though Sterling doesn't have the most power, those strikes are going through Cyrez.
They are, and you know, obviously as you continue to tap on that block, the strikes continue to bleed through, and the damage all starts to stack up. But with Cody Garbrandt, as we mentioned a moment ago, he has the power where just that real kind of one-hitter quitter sort of power. Doesn't take too many from him at all to sit his opponent down, and the boxing combinations really starting to come together for this man. Nice entry. I mean, interrupting beautifully is Sterling.
Nice work. Yeah, that's a close round, Ben. That's a tough one to score, in my opinion. I do think Aljamain had a lot of offense in that one.
I agree with you. Through the first 5 minutes, the Funk Master was able to mix it up a bit more effectively than KM Valentine. Valentine going for sort of that hand plant, roundhouse kick to the body several times. Nothing going on that front. Needs to just stick with the fundamentals a little bit, in my opinion. Whereas Sterling is the one who is exceeding and excelling, getting creative and being unconventional. Second round upon us. You can see right there, Aljamain putting that jab out there, Cyrez.
Yeah, I think it comes down to Aljamain having a lot of those vanguard sort of kicks, right? He has the really unorthodox kicks that he can mix up to in his opponent. And like we've seen, that's a big one right there, though. Almost fully capitalized on it. One body strike, the other's blocked and evaded. But those are the sorts of shots you have to be careful of, Humble. And takedown defense on for my man, Valentine.
Great job right there defending the takedown, and he just started to unload a bit right in the right time. I think he's been a bit wary of the takedown, which now he's blocked. He's taking him down into back sitting. Obviously doesn't have the choke from here, but can go for the armbar, and that's why it's a tiny bit predictable when we do have some banned stuff. But at the same time, he's controlling his opponent right now, Ben.
Control is on the mind for KM Valentine, especially after what was a closely contested first round. Needs to make something happen in this second round to get in the mind of JT, right? Let him know, hey, there is a dimension of mixed martial arts where I am better than you, and this ground and pound is announcing that.
Yeah, I mean, just to build on that, the ability to block that full mount transition a moment ago was fantastic, but excellent reversal from JT, now finding himself in top mount with 2 minutes 35 on the clock, Humble. That's a lot of time for that man to work.
Yeah, now you've got a stamina advantage as well. He can literally pass right now if he uses it. We're going to see his experience right now. He doesn't take the free pass to half guard. Very interesting right there, Ben.
maybe he sees something that we don't as commentators. The action is closer for him. Who knows? But Garbrandt back on his feet with 2 minutes left in this second round.
Mistake, but at the same time, it's an interesting fight still. Both of them teeing off on each other right now. I do not know who's winning this one, but someone's got to do something monumental in this round to make sure the judges say that guy won the round, Cyrus.
Yeah, and start to stack that momentum heavily in your favor when it's so back and forth. It really does just take one big moment to change the entire course and, you know, complexion of the fight. I have to say, Valentine's doing a fantastic job of backing out of the pocket when he needs to, and I feel like the damage is maybe starting to add up just slightly more on the head of JT, which is obviously going to be problematic with that Cody power as he rips to the body.
Oh, beautiful.
No love with no mercy right here as this second round is coming to a close. Big shots right here for Garbrandt.
I mean,
and that's what he was waiting for. Sorry, Cyrus. He was waiting for the big mistakes coming from Sterling. Being that quirky, being that unorthodox, you've got to throw a lot of strikes that make you very vulnerable, and you only need one to get rocked or hurt. And that's kind of what Valentine's been waiting for right there. And he does it late in the second round to surely steal this round, Ben.
That left hook, though, from Aljamain Sterling gets the attention of Garbrandt as this second round concludes. But you are completely correct, Humble. KM Valentine was just sitting on his hands for Aljamain Sterling to make a big whiff, and boy, did he capitalize in great fashion. Coming into this third round, I think the momentum is with No Love.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, Humble was calling for a big moment, an exclamation mark on the end of that round, and Valentine was able to answer that call with some big-ass shots as he continues to march forward and start to try and capitalize on it. No Love obviously smelling blood. Feels like his opponent may be starting to wave as he's getting really, really loose, and this is where Valentine does his best work as he knocks him down again.
Nice work right here, pushed him back to the fence. Sorry, Ben, as he hits him with a beautiful array of strikes right there. He's going to try and make him whiff right here, but he manages to land it. He's in trouble right now, though, Ben.
Ooh, look at that big overhand from Sterling into that lead upward elbow. Interesting mixing up, but boy, that kick from Garbrandt now ringing the bell. Aljamain Sterling. Here comes KM Valentine. This is awful for the body snatcher. Can Valentine keep him pinned against the cage? That is the question. Do not let the Buckmaster get out. Big lunging right hand.
Nice work right at the end of his strike, Cyrus.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful, mixing in the lunging strikes. He's got a stamina advantage, clear health advantage, now starting to let it all go. And as I said, this is where Valentine really does his best work. Sometimes the nerves get the better of him, but as his confidence builds, this man is a problem on the feet with the combos he's able to put together as he's displaying in this third and final round.
Oh, like 1-2 start with those hooks, those uppercuts to the body. Humble are just getting any success from the Buckmaster. It's just erasing it.
Yeah, like a Formula 1 car, he's gone from slow to quick very fast amongst this round. And like the body snatcher, he's actually stealing his body, and he's stealing his name at the moment as he's coming forward, taking his lungs away.
Look at the pressure from KM Valentine. Another big head kick rocks the Buckmaster. KM Valentine. It's over. The first stoppage of Primetime MMA Fight Night 32 comes courtesy of a big combination from No Love.
Beautiful work right there. Sorry, Cyrus. Absolutely beautiful work right there. Exactly what we were talking about in the first round. He was just very patient. He opens up with his hands in the third round, just like he should. Capitalized on the big mistakes from Sterling, and really had a perfect performance if we think about it, Cyrus.
Yeah, he did. He kept it composed, like you said, and was able to control those nerves this evening. The first round was a little tiny bit dicey with the unorthodox sort of, striking and pressure that Aljamain Sterling was able to put on him. But as the fight continued, much like the Peter Yan fight in real life, it started to wade a little bit, started to miss those shots. His opponent Valentine able to make those reads, and the Kingsman able to come out top this evening there, being in a big way.
Absolutely. And again, we look at that first round and we see the success of Aljamain Sterling mixing it up beautifully and finding those creative angles that took KM Valentine about 10 minutes to read. That third round, it was a quick decline, a slippery slope of Sterling's success. Good night, Aljamain Funkmaster. Big shout out to my foot in the Twitch chat.
let there be light. Also a great streamer amongst the community, a great fighter as well. Just saying that Aljo needs more composure for competition, in my opinion, especially against a competitor like Valentine. Great advice right there from Let There Be Light. He's completely right as well. Just a great performance from Valentine. But now we're going to move on to the next fight, which is Jay Robinson 1 versus Desire.
Yeah, FSK, Desire, Flow State King. This guy comes from a staple of absolute killers. If you don't know the FSK boys, you will very, very shortly. Desire being one of the head honchos over in that side of things. This man, it really, really does mix it all together absolutely brilliantly. I'm not as familiar with Jay Robinson there, Bane. I think he's a relatively new to the scene, and with this big matchup for him, he has his opportunity to catapult himself into a well-known position within the primetime roster.
Completely. This is a God-given moment for Jay Robinson to declare his presence inside the primetime octagon, and there aren't many divisions better than lightweight to do so. 155 has so much depth in terms of the fighters that are inside of it. Very different styles as well. You can see Dezya looking at Alexander the Great Volkanovski, 145 champion, now up 10 pounds. On the other side, Jay Robinson eyeing the notorious Conor McGregor humble.
Yeah, I'm 100% going to tell you right now that even though I don't know anything about Jay Robinson, that he's a great player. Someone who can hit Division 20 consistently in every single season and put him on the badges. I guarantee he's got Division 20s all the way through, and I guarantee that this guy's going to come in and be a problem right now. We're about to see if Desire can live up to his name and get him out of there, but I guarantee this is going to be a great fight. Keep your eyes on this one, guys.
Referencing the official betting, like you can see, Dezya might be closing as a large favorite here. Again, 100% of the pot going towards that fighter. Jay Robinson not netting a single point. Getting us started here at 155, you can see Jay Robinson does the McGregor pre-fight taunt.
100% Jay Robinson now, that's interesting.
Oh, yes. That betting line is getting interesting as this fight gets underway, Cyrez.
Get your bets on quickly before we start. And as we come out, you can see them both right now try and manage distance, Cyrus. Nice deep to the body right there, Ben, as he moves back. And you've got Volkanovski trying to fight on the outside, even though he's the smaller fighter right now.
I do like what Jay Robinson's doing inside of the pocket. Will say one thing, though, that leaning back, you can already see Volkanovski trying to make that read. He threw that head kick up there, maybe trying to catch the Notorious as he was putting those shoulders back a little bit. So let's see if Robinson can be a bit smarter with and when he does that head movement.
Yeah, them teeps are really nice as well. I like the teeps from McGregor. You see the best players in the world kind of use them. You got Blake Tyler's, you Suave Jamies, your Ed Parker's using them teeps, Young Paul, etc. And the reason they use them so well is because they change to a knee when you're in close, so they can actually become as two strikes in one, if you get me. So great work right now, though, from both guys.
I like the pepper that Jay Robinson is throwing. Not a ton of salt yet, but he's just touching up the chin of Dezya, right? Not landing with bad intentions, more so not nice intentions. You know what I mean? Not trying to take his head off, just trying to get the timing down midway through this first round. I am impressed by Jay Robinson.
Yeah, he seems to be doing a great job of maintaining his range and going to it. I would like to see Desire start to go to the leg kicks with a big head rock for Jay Robinson. Beautiful work, trying to push forward. Seems to be smelling blood and adding on the pepper that you were calling for, the salt you were calling for a moment ago there, Bane.
Yeah, here comes the salt, a little bit humble.
100%. And you just called it. I was about to say the same thing. Desire needs to work them legs. Is this a lightweight, Cyrus? I missed the fighter selection. Is that lightweight or is it featherweight?
I missed I'm just going to double check for you now, but I do believe this is in... this is actually... It said welterweight, but I'm assuming lightweight. It says welterweight. They were scheduled to be in welterweight, but...
He's getting that
Irishman is skiing off of the corner. Volkanovski down. Can Jay Robinson get the TKO? 90 seconds remain in this first round, and Alexander the Great Volkanovski not looking so great right here, right now. McGregor takes the back, goes for a bit of a back move. You don't see that often, humble.
Wow, he takes his back. I can't believe he just took his back. It's always disheartening when McGregor starts grappling you. If he can outstrike you and then out-grapples you, what hope do you have? That's the key. And as I said earlier on, nobody gets that amount of Division 20 badges without being a good player. And we're seeing it right now from Jay Robinson, Ben.
Man, what a shutout this first round has been, in my opinion. I can't think of a single exchange where Alexander the Great Volkanovski has had more success than the notorious Cyrez.
No, you're absolutely right.
More sweep right there, though.
Yeah, good work from him. Not a lot of time to work, but I think that going into the second round, Desire is going to need to take this full 60 seconds to compose himself, come out, maybe to make some adjustments, in that corner, attack the leg, potentially, of Conor McGregor, because right now, his evasive movement, his in and out, playing those footsies, humble, is just really, really on point and giving him a lot of problems.
Yeah, because McGregor is one of the most popular characters in the game. The developers don't want to really touch him that much, make him a worse fighter. So he's still got all that power, 98 power. He's still got a lot of stuff, but at lightweight, his leg health's not the best, and that's something Volkanovski does so well. But he's getting caught as he's doing that. Jay Robinson knows how to close the distance. Sorry, Ben.
The pressure and cage cutting of Jay Robinson is impressing me greatly, and he's finding the angle for that left hand. A lot of fighters have difficulty sometimes. Big elbows on the inside. Look at Jay Robinson mixing it up, beautiful, utilizing every single appendage of the Irishman to such great extent. Alexander the Great Volkanovski has his work cut out for him. You can see right there, 69 strikes for McGregor, 34 for Volkanovski.
and he's somewhere I come in as well, because I used to fight, and I used to fight southpaw a lot of times. And it's all about foot positioning. That lead hook is one of the key weapons, and the foot positioning of your foot on the outside of their foot. That's how your shots land easier, and that's how theirs miss a lot easier. So that's constantly what I'm looking for when these two are fighting. Even in a virtual octagon, it matters dearly, Cyrus.
It really, really does. You can set up those checkouts, but there's a big moment for Desire landing that hook. We've seen it a couple of times when Desire was able to land. He was getting off big damage on Jay's head, but like I said, straight back to it, he just seems very, very composed, and I think that's a lot of time in OWC. Like you said at the beginning there, Humble, able to get a lot of those badges, Div 20 basically every season, shows that this man has been basically in every position, although a little bit different when you're under the bright lights. He's got to make sure that he keeps it all together for the entire course of the fight, otherwise he may get caught slipping, pressing forward into a dangerous Desire.
The PrimeTime...
Go on.
The PrimeTime octagon does get bright, right? The nerves can sometimes stunt opponents' game plans right there. Conor McGregor finishes it. What an insane combination from Jay Robinson. Absolutely decapitates the great, makes him the bad. Good night, 145-pound champion.
Amazing work right there. And what we see is him go to the body. We've seen him use the angles. We've seen him cut off the distance. And Jay Robinson is in prime time, and he's saying right now, I am a problem for this division.
Yeah, he did fantastic work, rising to the occasion here this evening, picking up a big W, not with a little bit of adversity with that big rock, but he showed it didn't phase him at all when he got one big rock, did Desire off a nice slip, but we saw Jay just stay composed, continue that pressure, cage cut, using his strikes perfectly there, Bane, and able to secure a victory in a very, very big way. Another beautiful finish to cap out this fight.
It was something that he cooked up in the kitchen. The appetizer was in the first round, and the main course came in the second round, courtesy of that just cage cutting, right? That really was what I think unfolded Alexander the Great Volkanovski, was the inability to laterally move out. Conor McGregor was standing right in front of him, using that lead hand so effective, and you saw the right hook actually is what sent him to sleep. The Shadow Realm welcomes Alexander the Great Volkanovski as we move onwards and upwards through our preliminary fights.
Amazing performance. Chief Den versus, I cannot see that guy's name properly, but it looks like Dosh. Is that right on that one, Cyrus?
I'd say so. I don't know how to say his name. I think he's relatively new, much like Chieftain, but Dosh. I'm going to say Dosh. Dosh sounds like about right there, my man. These guys going to be in lightweight. From what I'm looking at, we may be seeing a Khabib up against Charlie Olives, which is a really, really fun fight there, Humble. You've got the ability to mix it all together on the ground. Obviously, with both guys, the jiu-jitsu of Charlie Olives up against the Sambo wrestling of Khabib Nurmagomedov. I can't say his last name, I'm not going to try again, but no, these guys are killers in basically every facet of the game that are going to be required. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what they're going to be doing. Oh, sorry, there's been an adjustment. I've just got notified from the back. Matty D is actually stepping in. It's going to be Chieftain versus Matty D.
Interesting.
And Matty D is actually a former title contender from Season 1. He's a dangerous, dangerous man, so Chieftain's going to have to bring his A-game to get this W. I know that you were pretty high on the man a little bit earlier on there, Humble. I haven't seen a massive amount from Chieftain yet, but what I have seen has been very, very impressive.
He's a young lad, and he's very, very good. Matty D, though, is a big contender, and that's a tough fight. Both of these guys are going to go in as Division 20s. Both of these guys are going to go in as top players, and we're going to get to see who utilizes their game plan better. I'm interested to see who they both pick. If Chieftain's going to go with like a striker, etc., you're looking for the striking, obviously, and how he's going to utilize that. But we'll see how Matty approaches this one, because this is a very interesting fight, Ben.
Absolutely. Conor Notorious McGregor now coming back into the octagon after decapitating Alexander Grave Volkanovski versus Dustin the loading screen. Dustin Diamond Poirier is on the other side. Matty D is lethal with the Louisianan humble.
Yes, this is my number one pick in this weight class. I do not pick anyone else but Poirier. Those hands are deadly. I like my kicks, but the amount of cumulative damage you can do even just by hitting the block with Poirier is ridiculous on this one. But you're going to get someone like McGregor as well. You just have to mix it up slightly if you are McGregor against Poirier, and you can't get caught in the pocket too often against Poirier. This is a banger right now. It's going to be an interesting fight, Chieftain.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that one of the big things that a lot of people sleep on with Dustin Poirier is somebody that started to use them a little bit recently myself. I maybe not as experienced with Dustin as yourself over there, Humble, but the thug jitsu from Dustin Poirier really can play a big factor in these early rounds up against a dangerous Conor McGregor who often comes out the gates very quickly, although a big miss from him in the opening 30 seconds.
I'm looking at the movement right now of both guys, and it's very nice. But you got one guy kind of counter running on the outside, and one guy pressing in now, trying to counter his opening bin and trying to find that moment that you know, that one big shot from Conor McGregor.
Great striking from the outside from Matty D as anticipated. This guy is just so good at finding angles. There are a few that are higher caliber, but eats a foot right there. Great job by McGregor. Spear from the Louisianan.
Beautiful work right there, and if you didn't notice, he actually switched stance to get that takedown. He moved from southpaw to orthodox just to close that distance to make the takedown easier as McGregor came in. Beautiful work from Matty D right there, showing his experience.
Yeah, now trying to implement that thug jitsu, raining down some ground and pound, choosing his shots very nicely, not getting carried away with it, Bane, which is absolutely vital to securing these positions and continuing the ground and pound that he's able to be getting off thus far.
And talking about securing, going to maintain a little bit more right there with that denial. The diamond now progresses into half guard midway through this first round, and we all know that in the grappling realm, it really goes to Poirier. McGregor on his back right here. Not good if you're Chieftain. He hasn't really had a lot of success on the feet, now on the mat in this first round. Humble have to think he might be a little bit concerned. Big denial right there from Matty D.
You don't want to be you don't want to spend too long on your back, especially as McGregor. And when you've got Poirier on you, just trying to punish you like this. This is where it gets bad, and Chieftain knows this. And Yeekis in the chat saying I sound like I have a cold. That's because I do have a cold, Yeekis. Good one.
We are all suffering a little bit under the weather, but under the strikes is Conor McGregor. Dustin Poirier landing with lethal intentions. The Louisianan laying it on thick. 90 seconds remain in this first round.
Yeah, it's been beautiful work on the ground so far there, Humble. He's doing great work at landing this ground and pound and just able to continue to ride out these positions and get the work done. This is really going to play a massive factor if they go into the second round. You know that Conor McGregor's best one is normally the first, so to get put down like this in the first round is got to be a little bit dissuading for that man right there.
Nice work so far. Yeah, Mighty's just controlled this round. He's done a great job of kind of... He's made the fight go where he wanted the fight to go, where McGregor's not going to do any damage whatsoever, and where Chieftain's not going to get any offense off, and basically secured one round apiece here. So it's 1-0 to Mighty, as long as McGregor doesn't get up and finish him or knock him out, man.
We'll see. The left hand can put anybody out at any time, but with 10 seconds... Ooh. Oh, Matty D just got clipped right there. The Notorious packs the power as the fight progresses, but you have to think Direz, the cardiovascular system of the Irishman, may not be in his favor after a round of getting dominated.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him, but obviously, I mean, he did a relatively good job of maintaining his stamina. Fake glove touch was that. You got he is all about the accent, Chieftain. Not happy about the way that first round went there, Humble. Now trying to get off some big damage to open up the second.
Yeah, he doesn't like the grappling, you know. You're going to come out, he's going to try and use McGregor. You want simulation, you get it.
And simulation is McGregor known to pull some dirty tactics inside the fight. A lot of short pulling, but eats a left hand right there. Poirier, more of a traditional guy, just clean with the striking, right? Doesn't need the dirty tactics because he lands when he wants to.
This is
the outside.
This is actually a tactic in real life as well. A lot of people can kind of make their opponents go in a false sense of security. You want to hit me with a fake shot, I'm going to try and finish you, and then bang, you catch him with a counter shot. So maybe Mighty D might have forgot the game plan right now, and he's striking with McGregor, which could be dangerous, Cyrus.
It very well could be. He had a lot of success on the ground, but one of the things with Matty D in his previous performances, at least within Primetime MMA, is he normally puts it all together on the feet. So with the slight advantage after that first round, I got to feel like he's probably quite confident and doesn't seem to be falling into the into the mind games of Conor McGregor from those early taunts. As I say that, gets slipped with a front kick.
Matty D's down!
Oh, didn't get a chance to finish him. That's incredible timing on that front kick right there. As Poirier shoots for a takedown, he gets pelted in the face with a front kick to the chin.
Oh my gosh, talk about a momentum shift. Chieftain with the opportunity of a lifetime right here. Matty D's nose is busted open, crimson blood leaking from it. Midway through this second round, now comes the Notorious. Once again, Matty D backed up. Here comes Chieftain.
And this is exactly what I was talking about, Ben and Cesar. He's one of these fighters that pull counters. He works his way in. He's got great movement, great technique, and he's managed to catch Mike twice in this round with big shots.
I mean, I was completely off the mark. Maybe some of those mental, that mental warfare paying dividends in the second round. The fake glove touch, the taunts obviously got Matty D to get quite aggressive, and he's capitalizing on those pulls beautifully, as you alluded to, Humble, a moment ago. Now finding himself on the bottom, though, in this half guard there, Bane. He's got a lot of time to work, still a minute 15 on the clock.
Look at the leakage from both competitors. So much blood is on what was a pristine canvas before this fight. Now every strike is eliciting some fluid from each member of the octagon. 60 seconds remain. McGregor back to the feet. Let's see how long. Poirier, chin is cracked in my opinion. Matty D. Ooh, good defense right there from the blue corner.
The Chieftain's got to be cautious here because his stamina is kind of dwindling. At the same time, he might have secured this round with the knockdown. It could be 1-1 going into the third round, and he doesn't want to get caught with a big shot at the end of the round. It's usually where it always happens, Cyrus. You always get caught. You always open up your guard at the end of that round.
Yeah, trying to push for some, a big moment to put the point on it, the cherry on top. That was a big miss. Almost got caught for it. Just able to get his hands up in time, but as you rightly said, likely 1-1 going into this third round, being a very, very closely contested bout there, Bane. Got to imagine that these guys are going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at each other as he goes for the fake glove touch once again.
Chieftain is pulling out all of the stops and tricks. Matty D eats a front kick right there. Now here comes Chieftain. McGregor pushing that left hand to the chin of Poirier. Nice. Great takedown defense from the red corner.
It was good takedown defense, but at the same time, he didn't capitalize on any sort of punishment there, which I like to see. We stopped him in, but then front kicks are stopping Matty from consistently shooting. Obviously, you don't want to walk into them if you're Matty, so you've got to focus on your timing. So it's very smart at the moment from Chieftain to do it, but he doesn't want to get sidestepped and hit with the left hook.
My God, my man! The counters of Chieftain on point this evening.
Oh, he's taunting him.
Look at the gamesmanship on Chieftain. Matty D is struggling. Once again, can Chieftain get the finish on the short notice replacement? Blue corner needs to address and adjust the Notorious, looking to put the Louisianan away.
Not going to count Matty D out yet, Humble, but this will be one hell of a feather in Chieftain's cap if he's able to get it. And in such a silky smooth fashion, I mean, he is starting to flow out here in the third round.
It looks like that fake glove touch in the second might got to Matty because he did change his game plan, and then Chieftain's come away with some amazing combinations as he drops him right there with an uppercut, Ben.
Massive uppercut. The chin on Poirier is in desperate and dire shape. Great takedown right there from him. That's something he's displayed throughout this entire fight, is a bit of grappling edge. Let's see if he can keep it midway through this third and final round. Lightweight action has been fired.
This is where we get to see what Matty's made of. This is where we get to see his veteran tactics. Is he going to be able to pull off a submission or do some damage on the ground? And this is where we're going to find out right now in the last 2 minutes of this fight, Cyrus.
Yeah, he really needs to pull it out of the bag. He has the thug jitsu. He has the ability to rain down ground and pound. He does have the submissions in his back pocket as well there, Bane, looking to obviously move across into the half guard. But a big reversal from Chieftain. That is massive for him.
He does, but he ends up in the guard of Poirier, and Poirier's better off his back, so he's got to be careful right here, Ben.
Guard stand up now for McGregor. The Irishman looking to make an impact. Matty D wanted that pullback counter, not there for him. This is the chance that Chieftain needs. Final minute of the final round. Can Chieftain get it done?
He's got people rallying for him at the moment in the chat. You got Ripper shouting, Chieftain, we trust. Here we go. Can Chieftain do it? He nearly gets caught with a pull elbow right there. Nearly gets hit with a head kick as well. Cyrus. Oh.
But just the one from Conor McGregor sits him down. And that is all he needed, Dean. Puts him to sleep.
30 seconds remain. Chieftain finds the TKO. The Irishman rallies in a massive way for the crowd to finish Matty D.
Wow. What a finish from Chieftain right there. And he says in the chat right now, you wanted the show, eh? You wanted the show? Here it is. Chieftain makes a statement in prime time, and it's lovely to have him here. What a fight, Cyrus.
Yeah, no, this guy's been a fantastic addition to the community, both in the Discord and in the Octagon, able to, weather that early adversity and maybe a bit of frustration that would have settled in on a lot of people with the takedown. Utilize some taunting, utilize a little bit of, mental warfare, maybe reading Sun Tzu going into this, took his opponent to where they were the least comfortable, able to land those beautiful pull counters, Bane, and what a way to close out that really, really entertaining bout.
You know, you don't see people getting inside the mind of Matty D too often, but disrupting his mentality at the beginning of that second round with the fake glove touch and the other dirty tactics, right? The taunting, the gamesmanship from Chieftain was impeccable, and you could see that final finishing sequence. Humble, let's unpack it. Matty D tries to frame. Chieftain throws the right and gets the finish.
Beautiful work, and just keeping the fight on the feet for the longest period of time, making your opponent exchange with you, throwing them hooks and then countering them hooks is the key to how he won that fight. And mainly, I believe, as I was talking about the taunt, as we can see, it's 1-1 going in that third round, and he really needed to do some damage in that third round, and damage he did, Cyrus.
He did, and look at that, man. 11 significant strikes, 5 of them causing a knockdown. That is precision from Chieftain. The pull counters, the slips, everything he put together was just absolutely pinpoint. I mean, it says that a lot of his, total strikes maybe didn't land, but the significant ones most certainly did. And when they did, Bane, was landing with absolutely massive, massive impact.
And you can see the power of Poirier, unable to match the just insane, incomparable timing and accuracy that the Irishman brings. 5 knockdowns. That is against Matty D. That is insane to see on paper, but boy, Chieftain gets it done in such a massive way. And we're still on the prelims. There are so many fights left, boys.
We have to give a shout out as well to Matty D for stepping up. It was a short notice fight, and sometimes that is very difficult to step up. You've got no preparation, no time. Sometimes it's your first fight of the day. So shout out to a few people today who've done these short notice fights. It's not easy at all to come in against such a good player like Chieftain and try and perform.
I completely agree with you. We know Matty D is a game opponent. He is the type of guy that will take on anybody at any time, in any weight, always been around the scene, putting in great work. And tonight just wasn't his night, but we'll know he's going to go back, maybe reassess what happened in this fight. Like you said, maybe came into it a little bit cold, but I know that that man doesn't live, doesn't make any excuses for himself. So he'll probably be looking for that rematch in the future after a couple of W's. And it was a very, very fun fight. So I would personally love to see it, a little bit further down the line. But as you say, we are still only really about the midway point of our prelims there, Being. Up next, we're going to be having Scythe up against AJ Guy, another guy that's been putting up, both of them been putting together fantastic performances under the PrimeTime banner. I think that this one's going to be an absolute barn burner between two absolutely gnarly veterans that can really take it any which way that they want.
Completely, and especially at 170, such a creative division in terms of picks and selections. You've got the Nigerian Nightmare, who's good everywhere, and you've also got really accredited kickboxers like Jorge Gamebred Masvidal and Leon Rocky Edwards. But La Vicente Luque pick is one of my personal favorites these days, purely because the silent assassin is just so well-rounded and so much fun to use.
I'm an Englishman. I always go with Leon Edwards, but It's something that you know, you kind of, it's born into you if you're from where I'm from. It's patriotic. I love being a Leon Edwards fan. He's got beautiful elbows, beautiful teeps. If you like the style of Conor McGregor, the striking, he's got kicks, patience, like I said, the teeps, the clinch, 5-star elbows and clinch. Great counter wrestling. One of my favorite picks, and we've got a mirror match right now, Leon Edwards versus Leon Edwards. So this is a treat for me, Cyrus.
Yeah, no, 100%. One of the things I'll just bring attention, like you say, he's got all the kicks, he's got the strikes, he's got those beautiful elbows. One of the most underrated parts of Leon Edwards' game is his ability to clinch strike. The elbows and the knees that he has in those exchanges are absolutely vital to some of the success he's had. I mean, we've seen him catch flying knees and elbow people into oblivion, so I think this man's going to be able to put it all together, whether it take the feet, the ground, or obviously in the clinch. Obviously, both guys very well versed, as I mentioned going in. We're already seeing Haroon start to pepper the inside and the body, trying to go up the center there, being with the lead uppers.
Yeah, I was going to say that lead hand work of Haroon truly is making this first minute difficult, but AJ Guy, again, once he makes the reads, it's so difficult to stop him. Throwing inside the pocket phone booth action does not favor either gentleman. You can get clipped at any moment when you're contesting it at that range, Humble.
Beautiful work right now, though. I'm liking the work from both guys, as you guys have just both mentioned the flaws and stuff like that. But these guys are both trading backwards and forwards. It's going to be whoever makes the first mistake for me at the moment and accumulates some more damage, as you see AJ's go to the body right there. Gee, size.
Yeah, no, I mean, look at that right there. This is AJ Guy really starting to try and put it together with the counters. I'm loving the body work from Haroon to counter it, but the strikes all bleeding through. AJ Guy looking on fire, Bane.
This is such a good turnaround. Again, Haroon working beautifully with the lead hand, but AJ Guy mixing it up all around holistically, just striking a little bit better, a little bit more educated. Clearly, those hands went to Harvard, baby. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remain. Big uppercut right there, Humble.
I'm seeing constant adjustments at the moment from both guys, AJ and Haroon, especially with the pull counters and the body shots to counter the pull counter. And we're seeing AJ going back to the ground right now, and he's getting some big damage off as he lands on his opponent from stacked guard.
AJ Guy, a gentleman that's been around the scene for a very, very long time. He first competed with us many, many moons ago, back in the IFL days, took a little bit of a break away, came back looking incredibly dangerous there, Bane. So far, he's been putting it all together, although he now finds himself on bottom with a nice reversal from Haroon.
Good work by both gentlemen in the grappling department. That ground and pound really stunned Haroon for a moment right there. Anytime you eat those shots in such quick succession, the bell gets rung. You got to clear the cobwebs a little bit. 8 seconds, man, in this first round. Humble, who do you think is going to be a bit fresher off the stool when we approach the second set of 5 minutes, if we get there?
Well, if we're talking about damage, we've got to say that AJ's guys probably landed a bit more damage than Haroon at the moment, but the stamina in the favour of Haroon at the moment, it depends on if one can capitalise on the body strikes, etc., going forward, or if one can capitalise on the grappling. But at the moment, it's an even fight, Ben. Very close. Either man can win this one at the moment. It just depends on the mistakes that they're going to capitalise on.
Right there again, phone booth trading. Pull counter, big 1-2s on both sides right there. Look at its heat from the red corner. 23 seconds remain. You could see Haroon trying to get back to the basics, the fundamentals. I had him so much success in the beginning of this round, but AJ Guy is flowing.
That was perfection, and that's going to be it.
Yes!
That is 1 second remain. Not needed. AJ Guy gets the stoppage in the first round.
Wow, what a finish right there. I actually got mixed up because they switched sides, but that was incredible. AJ's the guy with a dominant performance. A first round finish, it's exactly what you want on a prime time event.
Yeah, what a performance. I mean, both guys were game, right? But AJ Guy just looked on another level tonight. Once he got going, he made some early reads. That head kick right there, he got one to the body, said, I'm not too worried about that. Sent his one up top and was able to sit his opponent down, following up with that beautiful ground and pound there, Bane. That was a very, very fun mirror match between these two gentlemen. Leon Edwards showing up this evening, either which way.
Truly was, and I mean, what an interesting finishing sequence right there. You see Haroon go for the rear roundhouse to the body. AJ Guy responds with the lead head kick, catches the tempo, and as Robin Black would say, Bing, that was game over.
It was lovely work, and something to note about that finish, something that I always do with head kicks. When you stand still, if people don't know this, your head kicks come out quicker. So a lot of people throw a combination like a 1-2, stop completely still, then throw a head kick rather than be moving while you're throwing a head kick. Your head kick always comes out quicker when you're standing still, and that's exactly why it was so fast and it was so much more damage involved in it, because his opponent was throwing as well. He stood still, planted his feet, and then got that torque on that kick. Beautiful knockout there from AJ Sky.
One final thing to mention about this fight before Cyrus gets us queued up for the next one is the official betting line. I have to talk about AJ Guy being an 8-1 underdog in this one. I mean, that is cashing in for the individual who laid down 160 primetime channel points for that competitor.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to have the inside know. Maybe he's a guy that's been around the scene for quite some time. AJ Guy maybe being a little bit slept on, but if you didn't know his name going into that fight, you will going forward. That man is an absolute problem, and showing it on full display this evening there.
Beautiful work, and we're going to move on to the next fight, which is it's K5 Fired versus TSK Dover. Is that, Cyrus?
That is correct. That is correct. TSK Dover Smack, as he is named on the Xbox platform, are going to be up against K-Fired? Yeah, K-Fired. We'll just call him K-Fired.
K5 Fired. Now, I will take the reins on this one. These are aggro gentlemen. They have contested many a times in the No Mercy Killers camp over on that promotion. Now, unsure if that one's still around, but obviously Dover being a silent killer, K5 Fired, an independent contractor right now, up at 185. You could see Dover with 4 wins to a single one of K5, but with my experience sparring K5, that guy can make it happen at any moment. Darren the Gorilla Till taking on the Reaper, Robert Whitaker.
So just to lead us into this one very briefly, Dover Smack, an absolutely beautiful gentleman that's joined the community. I've had the pleasure of fighting him a number of times. Obviously, you see a 300 millisecond ping there. Do not be fooled by that. It's the most stable connection that you will come across. I've literally played people on a 30 millisecond ping that lagged more than this man right here, so I don't think there's going to be any problems in that sort of regard. But the one thing I wanted to touch upon with Dover is that this man's leg kicks, they are so good. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it in the past, Bane. His ability to continue to chamber that in perfect timing, setting up his other strikes, are absolutely beautiful. So I'm interested to see how K5 Fired is able to make the adjustments to that with Robert Whitaker.
Here we go right now. Herb Dean gets us started before we jump back to Bane. I'm looking forward to seeing them leg kicks. I love watching people utilize them leg kicks, Cyrus, especially when they've got somebody like Darren Till going against the Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker is one of my main picks, and he's absolutely solid to beat, especially when you're kicking, because when you're kicking, he can close that distance and put your lights out.
Yeah, we're already seeing him go into it often and early. He does a great job of it, looking like Robert Whitaker is trying to get the pressure going, trying to return some of those leg kicks, although I don't know if that's going to be the route to success with Darren Till's ability to rein them in with massive power there, Bane.
Bobby Knuckles with that big rear front kick to the teeth of Darren the Gorilla Till. Gorilla being a lot more aggressive. Dova is keeping in the face of K5 Fire, trying to corner him and maybe suffocate the success. Oh, almost gets clipped by that overhand, partially touches the chin. Leg kick right there for Darren Till.
And we're seeing a very typical matchup, like the actual real fight, a point sparring match on the outside, with Robert Whitaker trying to take the legs off, trying to hit the head, trying to mix it up really, really well, instead of just utilising his aggressive boxing. We've got Darren Till worried about a lot more things than just the hands at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's definitely the biggest threat is the hands, but like you say, when you mix it all together, it really does get the maximum, effect out of the hands that you are able to land, as your opponent doesn't quite know where to block. But a beautiful check and a return with a body roundhouse kick from Dover Smack. This man's ability to check those leg kicks and answer back with some massive kicks of his own is absolutely terrifying as he continues to rip to that body. Whitaker definitely needs to be a little bit careful of that, Bane. That stamina is going to continue to be eaten, but he is landing good damage of his own.
Right there, look at that, the Reaper landing that front kick right at the middle. Dover stunned momentarily. Here comes K5 Fire. 2 minutes and 10 seconds with which to work. Massive damage on the Gorilla. The Reaper looking to take a body tonight.
And we've got to pay attention to the footwork at the moment. We've got Dover kind of following his opponent. Every time he closes his opponent against the fence, K5 Fighter comes out the back door, and that's all about foot positioning. He needs to change that position, and look at that right now from Whitaker. He lands that uppercut because he's in the right position. His foot's on the outside, and the uppercut comes and catches his opponent coming in.
Yeah, and with that being said, K5 Fire, I mean, I've mentioned Dover's leg kicks, but he's having massive success with them of his own. That right leg already starting to become compromised, Bane. That could be problematic with still a minute left in the first round, a potential 10 left on the clock. The leg health, obviously, a little bit suspect already.
A little bit suspect. Cardio, chin health, the body's getting tested. K5 Fire being patient and composed. That lead uppercut has been money because Dova's throwing. Oh! Reaper down! Robert Whitaker meets the canvas courtesy of a massive gorilla head kick. 30 seconds remain in what has felt like an eternity of a first round. Darren Till firing back late.
Oh, wow, and it's a massive headshot to drop him, and we were talking about it in the last fight. He planted his feet, and he came across with a head kick when he wasn't expecting it. But so far, this has been a story of footwork, as we talked about earlier on. He catches him with the front kick coming forward as well. Can he finish him? No, he can't. End of the round, boys. Wow.
Absolutely phenomenal fight, if you do ask me. These guys bring in all the action. Obviously, you know, well known within the scene, like you said, within scenes like Aggro, now stepping across, first fight between each other in primetime MMA, and they are living up to all the hype. Both guys landing back and forth action. Right leg a little bit compromised for Darren Till. Big head kick to close out that first round for Dover's smack, and yeah, still all to play for as he continues to rip to that leg there, Humble.
Nice work. Ooh. Sorry, Ben, go on.
I was going to say, Humble, it's interesting that Dova is so dedicated to the kicking game inside of the phone booth. That range typically not really where you want to throw those kinds of strikes, and that's why he's kind of getting clipped. Again, you mentioned in the first round, positional striking of K5 seems to be a little bit better than Darren Till, but Dova, the aggression is unlocking so many different things for him.
Yeah, when you kind of following your opponent, what tends to happen is your opponent gets to pick and choose when he's going to go, and this is exactly what you're seeing right now, and he could finish him with a big shot right now. He's starting to pressure box him, but what you're doing technically is just walking into strikes as we're seeing it right now, and this looks like might be the end so far for Dover.
K5 fired, unloading on Dova smack. Darren the Gorilla Till is on the back foot. Every appendage is getting viscerated courtesy of the arsenal of K5.
Yeah, he is really living up to the moment here tonight. Gotta remember, this guy was 1-4 going into this bout. This is his biggest fight to date, and so far really rising to the occasion, Humble, as he's marching forward, doing a great job of not getting cornered. As you said, Dover maybe needs to start the cage cut a little bit more when he does get his opponent backed up, but going to be difficult with that leg in such a compromised position.
Yeah, he has switched stance, so he's going to have a little bit more success. He needs to really pick his opponent off as he gets dropped right there from a steel check to that leg, and Whitaker is in control of this fight right now, and it looks like 2 minutes left of this round. It looks like it's trouble for Till.
Absolutely. The Englishman, the Scouser from Liverpool, needs to make some serious adjustments. Great combination right there from Dova. Landing, and this is what I think he needs to do. Be a bit more patient. Wait for the opportunity for the strikes. Don't try to create them so much. Massive laceration on the left side of the face. You can see the blood pouring into the eyes. That's got to be bad for visibility, Cyrets.
Yeah, definitely so. They obviously got to be a little bit problematic, although I have to say he's starting to land those hands pretty nicely. Obviously keeping that right leg back, making sure that it's protected. Has to be careful of the kicks, though, although one good check could send him into a world of pain.
And this is where you were completely right, Ben. You can kind of lull your opponent into striking a bit too much and being overly aggressive and kind of countering him. He needs to pull in and out like he's doing right now, especially since he's switched stance. And if he can land a few good shots, that head health doesn't look too good from K5 Fire. He could start to even this fight, even though the damage to the body, to the leg, it doesn't matter as long as your head health's low.
Would love to see a bit of a repetition from the player. A massive lead uppercut once more. That shot has been landing so much for K5 Fired. Dova smack's chin is like a steel beam. That lead uppercut, a magnet, just cannot seem to miss, Humble.
Oh, he nearly missed right there, though. And he nearly got countered. If there was another second of that round, that would have been a close one. But very close round, in my opinion. I do think that Whitaker took that one. Dover needs to change it up. But I do think we did see some adjustments, Cyrus. We've seen him start to land a little bit more. And the head health doesn't look too healthy at the moment.
No, it really doesn't, and those leg kicks obviously adding up, starting to really become a problem. Obviously, we've seen the very quick switch after the opening leg kick from K5 fired. He does seem to be trying to go a lot more to the head, but it looks like Dover is completely aware that that's what his opponent is trying to get going, Bane, and is keeping those hands high, although a lot of it's eating through the block right now.
We'll say Dover Smack does have a slight stamina advantage over K5 Fired. If he chooses to unload and go for broke at some extent, he will be able to stand and trade a little bit more than K5, just purely on the cardiovascular metrics. But again, you look at that leg, you look at the head, there are just so many damaged aspects of his body. I'm interested to see what Till can do, Humble.
He hits him with a big shot right there, though. As he's pushing him back to the fence, he's starting to close the distance. And this is where it gets tricky, because if he can predict which way he's going to go when he gets him to the fence, is he going to go left? Is he going to go right? He can walk him into a big shot and kind of even the playing fields right now.
Oh, big head kick right there, partially blocked from Dover Smack. But again, that right leg is just blinking. Massive right hook right there, though, from Till.
Oh my God! He gets it!
The Smack comes back and puts it on K5 Fire midway through that third and final round. The Gorilla gets the hand raised tonight.
Blown away, Humble. I mean, that's the way to turn that fight around. My God.
It was just one adjustment, and the adjustment was the close in the distance, cutting off your opponent, cutting off that lead foot, and making... You've seen it. As he went back to the fence, he was stuck. He was like, I don't know whether I should go left or right. And when he went one way, he walked into a shot. And that's the key about being a counter fighter. If you get caught against that fence, you've got two options. You can go left or right. The other option is clinch, take down, or try and fight back. But if your opponent gets you there and they guess the right way, you're going to get a drop, and then you're going to go against the cage, and they're going to get a chance to finish you, and that's why it's so dangerous, Cyrus.
Yeah, it really is. Darren Till showing the power in those hands, like you said, making that adjustment and able to find the victory against a dangerous opponent. Able to go to 5-1, but no slouching on K5 Fired. That man turned up and was game this evening, Bane. I mean, he really put it on Dover until that last moment where he kind of slipped on that banana peel.
Something that,
You're there.
That is well documented about K5's style is, again, as I mentioned, he can create moments when you don't anticipate them. All of that leg damage wasn't really something that was necessarily super obvious, like the aggression from Dover Smack, but it was an element that really debilitated Dover Smack for a decent majority of that fight. But I will say, in addition to Till's adjustment in that finishing sequence, you have to talk about K5's mistake. Eats a combination, then goes for the clinch. That's when the Gorilla has an opportunity to throw a couple strikes on the inside, stumbles the Reapers back a little bit more, and then that is the finish, the knockdown for the TKO. K5 Fired tried for that full tie plum and instead ate the Scousers' finest.
Yeah, 100%. And in the words of Ronda Rousey's old coach, head movement. That's where the head movement comes into play. You got people like Mambo who uses that bloody the bobble head movement and the bobble head gang. You've got some options right there to kind of use that, but who knows? He still might have got him. It was a great adjustment, a great fight, and both competitors can hang their heads high in that one. I would be a tad bit annoyed if I was K5 Fired in that one, because he was controlling the fight and winning 2 rounds.
Yeah, they can be some of the more frustrating ones when you are clearly ahead doing such great work and then you zig when you should zag, or really kind of make one mistake and your opponent capitalizes it on it. As Bane alluded to a moment ago, just absolutely perfectly was able to get that slight adjustment and capitalize on a mistake from K5 Fired. But you live and you learn. I'm sure that guy will not be trying to make that mistake in the near future. Going back to the drawing board, he had a lot of positives to take from that. And I'm sure that's really what he's going to have to concentrate going forward. But it does take us straight on to the next one, my man Bane and Humble. We're going to be having 2 really high-level competitors stepping up from, well, to be frank, they've been in the community for quite some time now. Easy mix-ups, as his name would suggest, mixes it up really well. Very well-versed guy, able to put together the striking and the grappling. Same can be said for his opponent, Swish Bitty. I will say from a previous matchup with Swish Bitty, this man's grappling is absolutely phenomenal. Something that's very scary and is slept on quite considerably by most. Although he has been trying to implement a little bit more strike-heavy of a routine going forward, so we'll have to see how he approaches this one going forward. They're Humble.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. Obviously, I don't know anything about both of these guys, but I do know a bit about the East camp. I know the East camp's got a really, really high-level camp with a lot of different types of players in there, and we're going to get to see that right now. We do see the 1-0, but that doesn't mean anything, Cyrus. The 1-0 in this sort of could be a disconnection. It could be just one fight. You know, I like if I'm going to bet on someone, I like to see 5-0, 6-0, etc. But
yeah.
it doesn't mean anything, does it? 1-0 at all.
It really, really doesn't. And, you know, often, like you say, even in things like OWC and so on, I mean, somebody like myself, for example, I will go into there and, you know, use it more as a sparring routine, try and get different styles and bodies to, you know, test your skills upon. Under the bright lights of promotions like PrimeTime MMA, ESFL, and many, many other within the communities, you know, it really, really does turn up that pressure there, Bane. And that's where mistakes can easily be made, my man.
Absolutely, and Swish Biddy locking in on the Trailblazer. Kevin Holland appearing in the Primetime Octagon tonight. Let's see what he can do. He's been quite unsuccessful in 2021 within his appearances in the UFC Octagon, but maybe Primetime will be a better fit against Robert the Reaper Whittaker.
I mean, you've got a lot of different strategies. He's got good boxing. He's got the helicopter technique. As we all know, the spinning elbows, the spinning attacks that he's got. Bad. I don't know if it transfers over, but he doesn't have the best grappling on this. But we don't usually see Robert Whittaker grappling. I do know that Kevin Holland recently went to AK and was getting bodied by the teenagers out of the college camp. So, you know, it's not the best of Kevin Holland at the moment. He needs to learn that grappling. He needs to learn it quick.
Well, a bit of a slower start here in the beginning of this one. Combination from Trailblazer. You saw Whittaker wanted to go low. Holland met him high.
Holland does have crazy power in those hands. But, you know, it's not often you see a man finishing an opponent with strikes from his back. But that can be said, obviously, much about the same with Whittaker, especially in the striking realm. The man has very, very crispy, clean boxing and has a deceiving head kick there, Humble, that he can throw up there at a moment's notice.
Oh yeah, 100%. They both have a lot of different dexterity in the tools. Obviously, the Superman punch from Easy Mix-Up as well. There's a few different... That body kick, it's a misleading body kick. You can't quite sidestep it unless you go the correct way. But we're getting a bit of a tentative matchup at the moment, a bit of a distance fight right now, Ben.
Yeah, I think so, and that makes sense. You know, with Orthodox versus Orthodox, it's going to be trying to figure out which one can land the right hand and those other tools in the tool belt more. We'll say Kevin Trailblazer Holland does have a bit of a reach advantage. Would like to see Swish Biddy just peppering that jab out a bit more, playing with the range until he can really enter the pocket safely and securely. Trading knees right there, midway through this first round, Cyrus.
Yes, sir, I completely agree with you, and just to add upon it, I'm really liking the switch stances from Swish Biddy. A lot of people sleep on that, and it can really, really confuse your opponent, as it does change the distance and the strikes that become available to you, Humble. Although that was a great little stun and put down from Mix-Ups as he's now trying to press forward.
Yeah, 100%, and as we talked about earlier on footwork as well, a lot of the foot positions just change where you need to be with the placement of your feet to avoid strikes, your placement you need to be to land strikes, etc. So it mixes it up, and your opponent sometimes doesn't realise which strikes are going to land or not. They just continue doing what they're doing. So nice work right now, but I'm noticing there's a lot of damage done to Swish Biddy in all different areas, where as the leg health from Robert Whittaker, mainly from getting checked, is a damage at the moment, but good combination right there in the pocket from Swish Biddy.
Oh, whoa! Suplex City for the Reaper. Kevin the Trailblazer Holland, maybe not necessarily known for the wrestling, but implemented it effectively there as we approach the concluding minute of the first round. Trailblazer now just landing a little bit to the body. This is a great opportunity to debilitate the stamina to some extent, and also just read what Easy Mix-Ups is going to do on the ground. Great denial right there. Denies the sprawl.
Yes, sir. I'm surprised he actually went for the separation. There was only 40 seconds left on the clock. Humble had a lot of time to work should he wanted to stay there, although maybe he feels something on the feet coming his way.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of controlling distance at the moment. We talked earlier on about being close to that fence and the negative this effect of that. Maybe he's seen something there and he feels in control of this fight, but he's got to be careful when you're trading with Whittaker right there.
Oh, just like that, Humble!
Wow. Swinging to the bell is Robert the Reaper Whittaker. You can see a 15-strike disparity with the Australian having the edge in that one. Just a bit more efficient, but Trailblazer absolutely had his moments. Have to think, one thing that stands out to me, Humble, is the slight glimpse of grappling that we got in that first round.
Yeah, the patience for me as well, Ben. The patience from Whitaker to stay on the outside all the way through that until Kevin Holland kind of lost the patience and then landing that counter shot coming through. That seems to be the strategy from Easy Mix-Ups. He wants to use the counter attacks, wait for Swish Bitty to come inside and then land some of that big combinations while he's planting his feet. As we keep talking about it, your shots come out quicker.
Massive moments right here from Whitaker. You can see the body health of Trailblazer is absolutely at an all-time low. Shot from Holland. He gets Reaper down, but for how long? Swish Bitty. Great fight IQ right there to level change when he was hurting bad, Humble.
Wow, yeah, and then you see combinations from a cookbook coming out from Mix-Ups right there. He was trying to put him away. There was all sorts coming out. Swish Bitty, though, now on top in half guard. Let's see what he can do with it, Cyrus.
Yeah, he's got a lot of time to work, so I don't imagine we're going to see the separation. He's a very, very composed grappler. That was a lovely denial by Mix-Ups. This man's no slouch on the ground either as he continues to build up the GA, trying to look for an opportunity to get a transition off. These guys seem to be very, very evenly matched on the ground, which can sometimes lead them to a little bit of a stalemate. In this full guard position there, Bane, it doesn't allow you a lot of opportunity to move.
No, not at all. Definitely. And that denial right there. Beautiful work. Reaper back up on his feet. Not really where Swish Bitty wants to be because of the damage that he has been taking. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this second round. You have to think Easy Mix-Ups feeling comfortable in the striking domain.
Yeah, 100% on that back foot as well. Obviously, your opponent's got to come to you, especially when you're ahead, and that's kind of the advantage you've got. What you've got to be careful of is staying disciplined. Someone I like to watch a lot and learn a lot from is Young Po, great YouTube streamer, a great YouTube, one of the best fighters, always fighting in the ESFL and stuff like that. He just never breaks character, never comes forward, and he beats 90% of the competition he fights. So something I've always learned from there. He does a fantastic job picking people apart, and that's exactly what Easy Mix-Ups is doing right now.
Yeah, Mix-Ups really is mixing it all together, scattergunning techniques all over the octagon. So far, the biggest success has been the takedown for Swish Bitty, although he hasn't really been able to get a lot of damage off once he hit the mat. Although he does seem to go back with it, but an excellent denial. The takedown defense on point for Easy Mix-Up, and back and forth, man, back and forth.
Yeah, that AK camp's been treating him well right there because he's learning how to defend grappling. I'm saying, babe.
Kevin Holland appears to have gone to wrestling camp with Daniel Cormier. 50 seconds remaining in this second round. Trailblazer now getting it down once again. We have to think, right? Even with the significant striking, the control time is somewhat escalating for the blue corner. But in my opinion, Easy Mix-Ups clearly getting the 10-9 through the first 10 minutes of these 2 rounds, Humble.
Yeah, he's done a good job of posing the question, though, right? He hasn't done too much damage, but at the same time, Swish Bitty has had some success in this round, and that is where he needed to be. He couldn't be on the end of them strikes. He couldn't be getting caught all the time. He needed to have some success, and that's what he's done. He's given us a question mark right there.
He really, really has obviously given his opponent a lot to think about in this third round. Obviously he may even come out and just look to strike with him in the third now that he's been able to implement some ground, but he really does need to get something going. I think that he's potentially 2 rounds down. We've seen a stun in the favor of Robert Whitaker in the second round, and I think you'd both agree that he got the first round as well. I believe he got a stun in that one also. So a little bit of an uphill battle for Swish Bitty, although he has shown some great shades of success over the course of this fight.
Yeah, both guys got a lot of stamina at the moment as well, going into the third, and we're seeing the combinations from Easy Mix-Up right now, mixing up his strikes, doing a fantastic job of confusing Swish Bitty.
This could be exactly what Swish Bitty needs to do, though, right? Down 2 rounds, needing the stoppage, comes out swinging. Oh my God! Robert the Reaper Whitaker down, Easy Mix-Up meets the canvas. Swish Bitty now landing elbows on the inside.
Wow, what? That's big. Wow. We all know it's a bit sus, but at the same time, that was beautiful timing. He only threw it once throughout this fight, and it was impeccable when he did. He drops his opponent to the floor, and now he's on top. He gets reversed back in a half from Whitaker. Cyrus.
That was composure right there to get stunned, put on the mat, able to get the defense. Look at these guys on the ground. I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal. The defense on point, Bane.
For those that want to watch high IQ UFC 4 competitive grappling, this is the fight to see. It's just even. It's tit for tat. It's you get a transition, I'll get a transition. You reverse the position, I'll flip you over in the top mount. It truly is elite, as they say, but you have to think. Swish Bitty 3 minutes with which to work in this fight. 12 have expired already, largely going to easy mix-ups in terms of overall success. Holistically, I think there needs to be a stoppage. Swish Biddy, where is the urgency to get it done?
And maybe he's being patient right now. I don't know if he's just trying to wear his opponent down to have a last hurrah in the last 2 minutes, maybe last 1 minute of the fight to try and say, like, I'm going to try and win the fight right now. But just as you said right there, this is the prelims that we've got right now, and we're getting some high-level competition. Prime Time is truly elite, and if you want to sign up for Prime Time and fight on these events, make sure you join the Discord. This is an incredible event and an incredible fight right now for Mix-Up versus Swish Biddy.
Yes, sir, these guys really putting the time in the lab there, Humble, and it seems to be paying dividends for them. As you said, though, a minute 35 on the clock. There's not a lot of time for him to work. A little bit of urgency is going to be needed, Bane, if he's going to get the victory. But this is a great position to get that ground and pound damage off as he's trying to do so just now.
Easy mix-ups now, getting the bell rung a little bit. You can see Robert the Reaper Whitaker does not like those strikes from Trailblazer. Holland now taking the back, denied from Whitaker. 60 seconds remain. Swish Biddy, he needs a stoppage. I don't know what he's doing right here.
Maybe he thinks he won the first round, I'm not sure, but he is going for looks like a decision right now, or maybe some ground and pound finish. But if I'm him, I'm getting back to my feet. I'm trying to land one of them sneaky little push kicks, or the spinning back kick to the face again, you know, maybe doing something else. But it's going to be tough right now as the defense from Mix-Up is going to be there. He's going to be aware of his opponent, but can Holland do it? Is he going to try and rally? Oh, the spin kick comes and he catches him in the face.
Possibly the best thing that could have happened for him is Mix-Up's getting back to his feet. He's pushing forward, and this is the damage he needed. You've got to think there, Humble, that maybe if he separated a little bit earlier on, he may have got the finish. That was a big moment twice in the third round that he was able to get some success with.
But we're seeing highlights from the first round to Holland at the moment, so this is a tough one. Maybe he thinks he won it. We are commentating. It's very difficult for us to judge as we're doing that. This is going to be a tough one, Ben. We don't know who's going to win it. Let's find out from the judges.
It truly is up for grabs. Again, it all comes down to the first round. Who did the most work in the first 5 minutes? I don't know. Questions are really going to be answered momentarily. Will Trailblazer get the hand raised, or can the Reaper continue his success in the primetime octagon? Yes, he can. Easy mix-ups. Gets the job done. Decisioning Swish Biddy in emphatic fashion at 185.
Amazing fight, and Swish Biddy can hold his head up. He tried his best. Like, he did eventually come back in that third round and rally, but it just wasn't enough. Mix-Up did enough in the first 2 rounds to get the job done on the judges' scorecard as we move to the last fight of the prelims, Cyrus.
Yeah, these guys, man, sorry, they're just having a little look at the statistics at the moment. 1 stun, 1 wobble, 1 stun, 1 knockdown, 29-28 across the board. Yeah, that was a really fun fight, and what an incredible one to get us through it, my guys. Cannot wait to get into the next one. It's going to be a fight between LW Grips, the first performance from the Lethal Weapons this evening. He's going to be taking a step up against the real shit, who is looking to put his name on the map, and hopefully he can live up to that name, as he's coming out with a pretty braggadocious one.
What a hell of a name. What a hell of a name. The real shit opposed to, you know, like, it's going to be interesting to see this guy and see if he is the real shit this evening. But LW Grips obviously coming in. Is this half featherweight, am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is in featherweight. It looks like we're getting Volkanovski up against Jose Aldo. Always a fun matchup. Both guys have absolutely fantastic leg kicks and power in each hand. Cannot wait to see how this one goes down, Bane. Featherweight is one of my favorite weight classes due to all of the fun matchups that you can get going.
Absolutely. I think that 145 might be one of my favorite divisions, purely because of everybody that's inside of it. I will say this: if you are a primetime fighter and you are fighting at featherweight and you choose Josh Emmett, I will be very happy. I'm just putting it out there. I'm a big Josh Emmett guy. Great wrestling, massive power for that weight class. I think he's truly an elite pick that is so underrated. Humble, I think that there's many fighters on this roster where they're not the quote-unquote meta, as you would say. But at 145, what's a non-traditional pick that you like?
Oh, Cub Swanson.
My guy. Yeah. I got you. You just said it. You made my day. Cub Swanson's the man.
Cub Swanson, man. He's got great boxing, great kicks. He doesn't have a lot of power, but he's very good, and he has a great stance. A lot of people don't talk about this in the community, but a fighter's stance is really important. How they move, how they actually do it. Like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, for me, is very difficult to use because of his stance. Cub Swanson, Robert Whittaker, Peter Yan, these characters have similar movements styles, and that's where, for me, it's easier to box because you go into the boxing transitions in a fluidity that's not normal to others. So Cub Swanson, for me, is definitely a pick that I like to pick at featherweight.
Yeah, he is such a fantastic pick. I mean, I couldn't echo that any more perfectly there, Humble. He is just such a nightmare of a pick for everybody down in this weight class if you can utilize him correctly. Definitely more of a hammer than a nail, but we don't seem to be getting that matchup. I believe that was Holloway up against Conor McGregor, which is another fun-ass match. I mean, you've got the power of Conor McGregor, can really, really sit down on those shots up against Holloway, and of course we know how durable Holloway is there, being able to push forward and land combinations for days in this weight class.
The endurance of Max Blessed Holloway, all of that time spent on the 9th island down in Hawaii has prepared him to go for not just 3 rounds, not just 5 rounds, 10-round minimum. I think Max Holloway can throw strikes for days, so that is going to be the question that Conor McGregor has to answer at 145. Can he attack the cardiovascular system enough to debilitate Holloway's success? I'm looking forward to answering it right here, right now.
That's an interesting question as well. Before we jump into this fight, put who you'd like to pick. Who's the non-traditional picks in the chat? We got Simple Benny saying Motown. I'd like to know everybody's in the chat. Get it in there as we move on forward to this one. And an interesting fact, Ben, as we move back to it, Max Holloway learned his striking from UFC 2 or UFC 1, one of them. He literally learned how to strike from a video game. That's how he said he came up with combinations. Incredible.
What a guy. I love to hear it. Blessed is best, as they say, and you can see Conor McGregor trying to denounce that notion right here, right now. Interesting that he's going with the orthodox stance so early in this one.
Nice work right now. And you've seen that backup. We've constantly seen it. It's the same story in many fights. Who's backing up, trying to counter, using that movement, and who's trying to close the distance, cut off the cage, and use that pressure boxing. And right now, Conor McGregor's got him backed up. Can LW forward? Oh my God! As he gets caught with a big shot right there, but doesn't go down, Ben.
Look at the strikes that McGregor is landing on the chin of Blessed. Holloway backing up against the cage. This is awful for Max Holloway.
Yeah, this is tough.
Wow.
That's how you put it on a Max Holloway. Take away his durability in the opening going. 3 minutes still left on the clock, and the damage is now being put out from Holloway as well.
Max Holloway.
That is my combination right there. The left hook, straight head kick. Beautiful work. Just as he's exiting the pocket with no stamina as well. It always works a treat. But this is what he needs to do. He needs to fire back. He keeps moving his head. And what's happening as he's getting to the fence, he's moving his head. And what McGregor's doing is waiting for him to reset. As soon as he resets, that's when he strikes. It's perfect timing at the moment.
Midway through this first round, it really is the story of all the way down. Max must once more. I was going to say the straight shots of Holloway were getting through the guard of McGregor once again right there. A bit of a combination from the 9th Island native, but McGregor's pressure is just insurmountable. Massive combination right there, though, for Max Holloway.
When someone's coming at you like this, you need to attack the body. I know it's easier said than done when someone's coming forward, but when they're slipping, they're moving, they're coming forward and kind of pressing you. That's when you attack the body because it'll take the stamina away, then they need to take a back step. That's when you attack or take some space back off them, and that's what I'd like to see from the adjustment so far.
Oh my God, man.
Gosh.
Oh, he gets dropped.
Oh, Blessed is down. This could be out for him. Can he hang in here? No, he can't. Conor McGregor gets the first round TKO in what was a mostly one-way traffic for the Irishman, but Max Blessed Holloway did catch him in a couple exchanges. However, too little, too late, not enough to take Conor out.
That's catching your opponent off guard right there. He came out in the first round, had a game plan, and pressured his opponent. And what I liked about it, he didn't just pressure his opponent, he countered his opponent when his opponent was supposed to attack. So when he let his foot off the gas, he was ready and waiting, cocked with a big uppercut or a big pullback counter exactly on time, on precision, on time for the shot there, Cyrus.
Yeah, he did fantastically well. I mean, Conor McGregor's first round is his best, as we've mentioned a number of times throughout these opening fights, and he capitalized on that beautifully, not giving Max Holloway a moment to get his rhythm going, just pressing forward, like you said, utilizing beautiful head movement. Honestly, just absolutely a fantastic work. What an action-packed first round that was for as long as it lasted. All entertainment over the stretch of those opening couple of minutes there, Ben.
It truly was, for as long as it lasted through 4 minutes, was a beautiful display of 145-pound action. Honor to call that one, in my opinion. And again, that was, as you mentioned, stunning your opponent, catching him off guard, being as aggressive that early with McGregor is somewhat on brand, but that's kind of cranking it to the 11th degree and something that Max Blessed Holloway was not equipped to properly deal with. Now that brings us to the main card, I believe.
It does, sir. That is absolutely correct. The first fight of the main card is going to be Motown's Finest up against BSD Juice. In the featherweight division, once again, another really, fun fight to have in this weight class. Motown's Finest has been doing fantastic work within the promotion. Much like Juice has been, especially since he joined the BSD boys, he has really been putting together the work with those hands, really living up to the Body Snatchers degree, name or the moniker of their club or gym, as you would there, Humble.
Yeah. Obviously, this is going to be a great fight. These guys, whoever is on the main card for Primetime, have earned it. The way the matchmakers do this, the way the people do this, you have to earn your slot every single time. So we're going to see a great fight right now. I'm a bit worried about that ping, Cyrus, but it just jumped to 300.
Oh, that's a little concerning. It looks like they're going to go through with it anyway. But yeah, these two guys, heavy kickers. They both got very technical strikers. Definitely going to have a power advantage for Anthony Pettis. I do believe there, Bane. Although obviously you're going to have a slight range deficit from that side as well. Yeah, just a little bit longer when it comes to these exchanges.
El Pantera definitely has a little bit of a reach advantage in this one, but you look at the existing history, 1-1 apiece. Who knows at 145 what these guys bring to the table? I have to think, though, the one thing that can be anticipated is creative Taekwondo strikes, Tumble.
Yeah, I do not like using Yaya in this weight class, mainly because his stamina, it just drains so quickly, especially with the combinations. And he knocked out my boy, Korean Zombie, with a second left. I'll never use him. Literally one of my favorite fighters of all time, Korean Zombie. But we'll get to see how these guys utilize them. I'm liking the head movement at the moment from Motown, but he's got to watch his body as he moves that head.
Short hooks on the inside for Rodriguez, catching the chin of Showtime. Anthony Pettis needs to be cognizant. Oh, big overhand right there, lands early for El Pantera.
Nice body kick right there. The spinning kick coming in from Pettis at the moment. Both guys trying to find a moment right now to land a big spinning heel kick, as you see it right there, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, this is the beautiful thing about these guys. Like you mentioned a moment ago, Bane, they have the Taekwondo kicks. Both of them do. It's where they really start to excel is when they get, pretty flashy. Let's be honest with you. That's where they get their best work done. It's where they get their biggest damage, able to go high, able to go low with it. And got two-touch kicks, spinning kicks, all of those things able to put together. I have to say I'm liking the pressure out of Motown's Finest, just putting Anthony Pettis on that back foot and trying to get the lead, in terms of going first there.
You bring up such a good point, right, about keeping him accountable, right, making him answer, making him honest, Humble.
Yeah, 100%. And he keeps kicking that leg. I'm liking the damage at the moment. I wish we could see both guys' health. I know there's a little bug that happens on PlayStation and Xbox where you don't get to see that sometimes. But this is an interesting one right now because both guys are very similar in how they attack. And I'm liking the boxing so far from Pettis.
That may be where he has one of the biggest advantages, but the spin elbow for Motown's Finest almost lands the massive spin kick after it as well. Tornado kick, I do believe it's called, but absolutely beautiful, trying to get loose. Anthony Pettis didn't like that though, Bane, as he's marching forward, trying to land some bombs of his own.
Oh, he wants to earn that one back for sure, but I will say in the event that Motown's Finest had completed that impeccably creative strike, the KO over the night question would be answered, at least in my opinion. 90 seconds remain in this first round, Humble.
Yeah, the 360 roundhouse kick it's called, and it's a beautiful technique. You can actually chain that with other stuff as well. But both guys have it, which is interesting. So we're going to see if he wants to get that one back. He might actually throw it back to him as well. Pettis got a dexterity of shots as he gets countered right there in clinch, and Yaya's going to try and knee him right now and push him back to the fence, Cyrus.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Lands a jab straight lead hook. The damage is starting to add up for Yair Rodriguez, doing beautiful work with the hands and the feet. Really keeping him, like you mentioned, accountable, and it looks like Juice may be getting a little bit frustrated trying to get some big spin kicks going there, Bane.
And you can see over the course of this first round, the timing and range from both sides has been lost a little bit, right? Anthony Showtime Pettis right there tried that massive spinning heel kick, whiffed it at range, right? Motown's finest also losing a big lead uppercut though from El Pantera.
Oh,
Nice.
beautifully. Saved by the bell, Humble, the spinning back fist on the buzzer.
I need to give him some credit right now because I've not seen anybody use Yaya Rodriguez in that manner ever in my lifetime of playing this game, and I must have watched and played thousands and thousands and thousands of fights. I've never seen anyone quite use him as well as that, but we need some answers right now from Pettis. He needs to come out, he needs to do some damage, and he needs to start landing his shots in range.
One thing that I think I could contest here is the pressure of Motown's finest, El Pantera, really coming forward and staying in the face of Showtime, not giving him any range. Juice, I feel, needs a little bit more space to work and get all of his strikes going. This just intensity and suffocation is hindering his success. Ah! As I say that, Showtime lands a massive head kick.
Beautiful work, spinning back kick to the body right now, and can he keep it up? That's the question.
Oh,
He gets caught.
Wow. I mean, he's landed that combination on repeat there, Humble. The jab straight into the lead hook has been money for Motown's finest as he continues to plant on it as Pettis is entering the pocket. Pettis definitely needs to be cautious of that as he gets caught once again.
Oh, so nice. Wow. That left hook there, the check left hook as he comes in. Doesn't move his feet, doesn't think, he just catches him fluently right on the cheek with that check left hook.
Good head movement right there from Showtime inside the pocket. Now he's being the aggressor. Can Juice work with this space? Jabs from El Pantera. Stunned him momentarily. 3 minutes remaining in this second round. Massive lead uppercut from Pettis.
Wow, back and forth fight right now. He's got him against the fence, and he lets him off, which is an interesting strategy right there. Maybe the stamina was low, something we don't know yet about how he's doing conditioning-wise.
Look at this. He's giving up the space. He is backing up. What an interesting move from Juice right there, Cyrez.
Yeah, I think that he's trying to just. Oh my, never mind.
That is it. Showtime out cold. Motown's finest capitalizes on what was a massive mistake from Anthony Pettis. Showtime sleeping under the stars. El Pantera gets the hand raised in round 2.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I've got to say I blinked and I missed that fight. I missed that knockout right there. You blink and you miss it, ladies and gentlemen. You blink and you miss it.
Yeah, it's for sure, especially in barn burners like this, brother. I mean, the circling to the power hand there, Bane, was just absolute money for him. Set him up for that counter hook. Absolutely picture perfect. What a way to close out that show.
And this is what we saw in the fight with Purple Urkel, right? Those jumping spin kicks to the body are a live or die type of move. In the event that your competitor reads it and is able to sidestep, you put yourself in a prime spot to get knocked the heck out.
And this is me all over. This is what I do. So I sidestep a lot and I use these counters because these flashy moves, these big shots, these are what leave you the most vulnerable in the fight. And this is where I was talking about finishing earlier on. This is where it comes into effect when you know your opponent's going to be using flashy techniques constantly. You can just bait them into them by standing right in front of them, then sidestep, then an easy left hook coming through to end that fight at any moment's notice. And it goes for both guys. But what we got right there was a great performance.
It really, really was, my man. And, that takes us on absolutely beautifully, Bane, to two guys that have become very, very fan-friendly favorites. We're going to be having TMF, the motherfuckers, Dale Denton, with his mighty white beard that apparently he's trimmed off recently. It was pretty depressing, so he's no longer the mighty white beard, but he's going to be stepping up against an incredibly dangerous opponent in Yiticus. The man has got submissions for days, has been working on his hands. I know he's been training with a couple of different camps. I don't know if he's actually got any, I don't know if he's actually signed with any of them yet, but I know he's been training with them, and he's been making some massive adjustments to his all-round game there, so it's incredibly interesting to see how these guys match up. The comeback kid of Dale Denton, and obviously that submission guru of Yiticus stepping up in this welterweight division there, my man.
It is insane to me. I've only called few of Double D Dale Denton's fights, but I have to say this guy is one to watch, one of the most exciting guys on the scene. Pulls the fight, as Cyrus mentioned, from the brink of defeat and comes back to get the hand raised. Dale Denton knows how to get it done, but will he be able to against Yiticus at 170? As Cyrus mentioned, the submission threat, anything on the ground is fair game for Yiticus, and you can see Tony El Cucuy Ferguson. Humble, we all know how Ferguson mixes it up, but Jorge Gamebred Masvidal on the feet is a dog.
He really, really is. Just to jump in there very briefly, my man, I think that Dale Denton here, I'm actually surprised by this. I was expecting to see a Tony Ferguson mirror match. We know that Dale Denton, I think he was almost undefeated as Tony Ferguson. I think he's only ever dropped one fight as T-Ferg. He's a really, really good T-Ferg player. Keeps it unorthodox, likes to, mix in all of the kicks, the punches, the elbows, the knees. Everything goes together very, very nicely with him. But obviously, this time, Yidika's able to pick up that pick, and that could be problematic if we hit the mat, although Dale Denton does have the takedown defense normally to hold off his opponents from those positions there, Bane.
He does Gamebred on the ground, 3.5 stars overall. He does have a 95 submission defense, so really well equipped to avoid the attempts of El Cucuy. But, a little bit of an Imanari roll to start things off right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, you love to see it. At least letting your opponent know it's there, and he's saying, if you don't mind your P's and Q's, I'm going to be in at those ankles trying to take your leg off as he goes again.
Look at this. Several Imanari roll attempts right at the beginning of the round. It's rare to see even one of those. And it's a third one. Oh my gosh.
And it counts as a submission attempt as well. And if you can, obviously submission attempts, they weigh heavily towards the judges. So it's a difficult one on the judges' scorecard there, Cyrus.
Yeah, no, it definitely can be, especially if he's able to secure some time with it. Dale Denton doing a good job of answering to the body, but the uppercut from Yidikas. The one thing I will say about Dale Denton, the comeback kid, he's known as that for a reason. He takes these first rounds to make some adjustments. His stamina is at full from the first round to the last. His opponent's not able to often do that with the beautiful bodywork he's able to put on, although he does have to watch that head hill as Yidikas is getting it going there.
Yidikas with the dexterity in his
Dale Denton. We talk about Dale Denton being a slow starter. Denton needs time to make the reads, but Yidikas is a guy who doesn't give you that. He's in your face and landing those uppercuts multiple times in these exchanges. Once again, this is bad news for Dale Denton.
He fights like Tony Ferguson. He's unpredictable. He comes forward. He throws unorthodox techniques, Imanari rolls, elbows, slip counters, just a different array of attacks that you've got to deal with. You can't make reads on Yidikas at the moment. You've just got to throw.
Oh, this is a bad spot. The damage adding up. Wow. One or two shots is all it's needed. Just about surviving there, Bane. Now trying to get the back reversal, and he gets it.
Still taking the back of El Cucuy. Interesting choice right there. Again, Gamebred doesn't really have the best top control or submissions in his own right. More of the clinch striking would be where he could try to pivot, but again, you need to be on your feet for that. Dale Denton, now in the full guard of El Cucuy, does stand up.
And a shout out to NWA Loki Man in the chat donating 100 biddies. Thank you guys for the support as PrimeTime tries to advance. This fight has been amazing, Cyrus.
No, it really, really has. You wouldn't expect anything less with these two absolute killers. Yidika's coming fresh off a massive W on the Vengeance card up against EK Jakey with a very, very quick first round finish. Able to get that knockdown, then the submission. Trying to get something going here this evening up against Dale Denton. But this stamina may become problematic if he's not able to, start to pull it all together. This is where Dale starts to come alive as the fight continues. Although that head health may be a little bit suspect, Bane.
You see that big right hook from Gamebred catches the attention of El Cucuy. If Dale Denton can make things dirty as Dale Denton does, I think he'll have a lot more success. But the problem is, El Cucuy, unpredictable, shoots right there, level changes, gets it down to conclude round one. Have to think with all the success Yidika's had in this first 5 minutes, Dale Denton now has to come back humble.
Yeah, 100%. I'd like to see him focus on the basics sometimes, like some more. He's not kind of planting his feet and concentrating on the shots that are coming towards him and countering him maybe with a simple jab, trying to disrupt his rhythm, etc. He's trying to get his moment to fire some shots, and he's getting caught in the transition because the rhythm at the moment from Yidikas is all over the place. It's so hard to predict when you should go or not. He just needs to get in there, throw some simple combinations and see what lands. Great job from Yidikas so far though, Cyrus.
Yeah, it really, really was. He started out that fight in an absolutely emphatic, fashion, just non-stop, foot down on the gas. That can sometimes come to bite you back in the ass up against an opponent like, Jorge Masvidal, especially in the hands of somebody like Dale Denton. Although the head health, like we've mentioned, definitely starting to become a little bit problematic on the side of the TMF member.
And I have to give a shout out to Yeek as well, my first subscriber. And he's gone for the new round. He actually put in the chat his emote there he got from my channel to shut me up. But yeah, thank you, Yeekus.
Eutychus yet to taste the fire and fury of the dirty dog that is Dale Denton, starting things off in round 2. Gamebred clinching up El Kukui. Big jumping knee from Masvidal.
Yes, sir. And as we mentioned at the beginning, the stamina just never wanes with Dale Denton. He just does such a fantastic job of staying composed and keeping that stamina high. Although, obviously, that doesn't necessarily win you the fight. It puts you in a fantastic position should you make it to that second or third round there, Humble.
Yeah, it keeps you alive, and that's the key. And if you can keep alive, you've got a good gas tank. You're allowed to unload a bit more in the third, while your opponent, if they keep that same rhythm, if they keep that same output, they're going to gas a lot faster, and you're going to end up having some moments, especially in the third round, to try and finish them, unless they grapple you on the floor like this, Ben.
Hard pass right there for El Kukui. Denton regains it momentarily, just under 3 minutes remaining in this second round. Top mount for Ferguson. Cyrus Dale needs to be able to get this fight back to the feet.
He really does. The longer it stays on the ground, the more convincing it's going to be. But what a reversal!
Oh.
God damn, that was perfect. And yeah, he's going to have to stay composed here. I wouldn't even be surprised if he just, tries to ride out some time. He has to be mindful, obviously, of that rubber guard. Gets the separation, though. Intelligent move as he tries to circle back to the center of the cage there, Humble.
Oh, yeah, and he's in the unorthodox stance at the moment, and he's getting pieced up on the feet as he gets hit with an elbow right there. He needs to land some offense right now. He is surviving, and Yeekus is throwing a lot for his output. He gets dropped with an elbow, flying knee, and can Tony Ferguson finish him right now?
That's it. Yeekus gets the job done, Bane.
Wow. The mighty Dale Denton will not get the hand raised tonight. Eutychus, equipped with an impressive Tony El Kukui Ferguson, shuts down the hype train in what was brutal fashion at the end there. Dale Denton goes for a signature big move, misses. Ferguson counters masterfully with the elbows. Dale Denton, unfortunately, will be in the hospital after this one.
I think that's the closest performance I've seen to a Tony Ferguson simulation that you're going to get right there. All over the place, wacky submission attempts, wacky striking, just unpredictable at its best, Cyrus.
Yeah, it really is, and that causes all sorts of problems for your opponent. If they don't know where the strike is coming from, they're not going to be able to make the adjustments needed to get those big counters and to really get him off you, because Eutychus doesn't waste time. He's on you from the start, and he doesn't seem to miss a lot of strikes, so you need to make some massive adjustments, and it's really hard to when he's mixing it up so well there, Bane.
It really is, and what we spoke about earlier in the broadcast is about stunning your opponent by starting strong, starting fast. You can see there the striking statistics were quite similar, but the momentum really always seemed to belong to El Kukui. Did not give Dale Denton a moment to get back into the fight, and at the end of the day was able to shut him out when Dale Denton goes for a signature Dale Denton move. That is a smart, high IQ player right there in Eutychus, and we have to mention to conclude it, the Imanari roll attempts are random as heck, but so much fun to watch.
That's just a disrespect for your opponent's ground game as well. If you're going to go for an Imanari attempt, they've got a chance to kind of get into the stack guard. They've got a chance to try and punch you and stay in that guard, and obviously try and rack up some points winning. And Yeekus just felt comfortable every single position in that fight, I feel. Dale Denton can learn a lot from that fight, though, and he'll come back stronger, no doubt, but Yeekus moves forward and gets a W on his record, Cyrus.
Yes, sir, and it's a good W for him. Dale Denton is a really tough opponent to kind of, especially have that sort of approach with him. He's not normally, able, not a lot of people are able to get him out in the first and the second round. He does a great job of surviving to those later rounds, and like we mentioned during the broadcast, has the ability then to unload with that massive gas tank and really throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at his opponent. But tonight, there's that forward pressure from Eutychus, the unorthodox striking and submission attempts that he opened up with those Imanari rolls were absolutely massive for him, and really kept his opponent all over the place with it. That does obviously, though, take us straight on to the next one. I think there's actually a slight adjustment from the graphic that we had in front of you there. It appears that we're going to be seeing FOI Jake Paul, which in his debut performance, he picked a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, looked absolutely fantastic, did get clipped at the end of the fight, which I think he may have lost that one. I could be wrong, so please don't murder me in the chat if I am wrong, but he did look absolutely brilliant in that performance for as long as it was lasting, although he is now stepping up against one of the Kingsmen in KM Caliber, who has taken this fight on short notice in the lightweight division. We know how dangerous Caliber is, a very, very well-rounded threat, no matter where the fight goes there, Bane, and I'm expecting absolute fireworks in this one.
Absolutely will deliver at 155. Almost every matchup that you can make with the fighters that are on the roster delivers in such delightful fashion. Have to think we might be looking at Frankie Edgar. Gosh, Hummel, that would be a fun pick.
Yeah, 100%. Frank Edgar, one of my favorite fighters to watch throughout history of MMA. If you've never seen his trilogy with Greg Maynard, you need to watch that. I literally watched that at a house full of people and jumped up and was screaming at the top of my lungs because he's such a fan favorite. He always gets hurt and always comes back, and that's Frank Edgar that I know. Absolutely battered the crap out of Yayo Rodriguez when Yayo Rodriguez was a really big contender coming up and showed him what was up. He's always one of my favorite, but he's moved to Michael Chandler, which makes me sad.
maybe he was just seeing what the former lightweight champ has in terms of attributes before going over to Iron Mike, the Bellator's own, transitioning now to the Ultimate Fighting Championship, kind of at the twilight of his career, taking on Tony El Kukui Ferguson. This fight would be actually fun if it gets contested in the real world. Have to think El Kukui, though, far and ways away from the top of the division now these days.
You've got a really strong...
Oh! What?
He's gone for the round roll straight away, which is going to be interesting because he's going to end up either... if he gets past the first stage, he'll end up on his back with Chandler on top. So it'll be interesting to see what Jake Paul can do with this position right here. Side control, Ben.
This is bad. Iron Mike Chandler has insane power in the hands. You do not want a guy like him raining the lightning and thunder down. The ground and pound is vicious from Iron Mike. 3:55 remain in this first round. Humble, and it's kind of going Chandler's way.
In the way I look at this fight, is very much a stamina battle. Obviously, it's who can land the most damage, but when we're looking at a Tony Ferguson versus Chandler Pick, as he gets the beautiful sweep right there and ends up in full mount, now back to half guard. Chandler gets back, and he's not great off his back pain, so maybe this was a strategy all along.
Potentially sort of tricking him into taking it to the round and then reversing it, trusting the instincts. The Kingsman Caliber again. Crucifix for Ferguson. El Kukui now in a prime position to land some of those elbows that he is known for. Here they come. Short and sweet are they, but they pack a beautiful punch. If there's a laceration that gets opened up this early in the fight, Humble, you have to think Iron Mike's going to have trouble with the visibility department.
100%, and he needs to get out of this position right now. One of the worst positions you can be in, especially when you've got a 50-50 chance. Are you going to go left? Are you going to go right? That crucifix position to me. Oh, he goes for the DAS. Amazing. One of Tony's biggest moves right now. High level stuff right there from Kingsman.
Yeah, and the DAS choke is
tracking pretty well right here.
It's such a dangerous submission to get in. You don't often see it being utilized, but being utilized pretty well now. The escape does seem to be on, although these early submissions often are just an opportunity to read what your opponent is doing there, Bane, and make those adjustments come the later parts of the round.
Absolutely right, and that's the problem with fighting a guy like El Kukui, because you escape one submission, inevitably you will be facing another. Wonderful takedown right there from Ferguson.
And what I'm seeing so far is a fantastic reversals in jiu-jitsu from Caliber so far. He is playing perfectly on the ground, using Tony Ferguson to a treat, going for submissions, trying to win the round, trying to win the fight, and Chandler is not got off at all yet, not one single bit. He needs to get up, he needs to try and use that powerful boxing he's got, and currently Caliber's doing a great job of neutralizing that.
Nice denial once again from the Kingsman, going for the Peruvian necktie this time, able to cinch it in for the moment, trying to track his opponent as well as he can. Seems to be doing a relatively good job, although not a lot of time on it. These things, though, as we've mentioned throughout this entire card there, Humble, just looks good in the eyes of the judges.
Yeah, 100%. Not something you see a lot in actual MMA. Dash, you see a lot. You see it in Luque versus Chiesa the other day. Luque getting that dash, but the Peruvian necktie is a difficult one because when you lock your hands together, if your opponent breaks your hands, he ends up in a good position on top of you, usually as you try and get them legs over the top. So not something you usually see, but the submission attempts, the amount of attempts that Tony Ferguson went for there was incredible. Two different types of performances so far from Tony Ferguson, from Yitikis and then from Caliber, but so far both brilliant performances. I'd like to see Jake Paul use Chandler with that power boxing and keep off the ground if I was him.
Yeah, he's got to use it sprawl to brawl, Bane, but right now the combination's coming out very quickly, although he does get interrupted on that flying knee.
One thing I will say, when Iron Mike lands, you can clearly see a significant effect. Tony Ferguson now getting backed up across the octagon. Can Chandler keep up the momentum?
Ping, ping, ping. He starts hitting him in the head, and then we see a new... I cannot say it. Ben, could you finish that one off for me?
Brings up the Imanari rule. It brings up the level change. Every time that Iron Michael Chandler has success on the feet, Tony Ferguson takes it to the ground. Iron Mike needs to keep this standing if he wants to have success. He'll get out of this one, find himself in a more advantageous position, but it just depends on what he does with it.
Is he going to stand up right here? This is the question he does. Interesting. He didn't like what he got from that first round, and now he stands up, tries to get back to the feet, and he was tagging him, Ben. He was hitting him with combinations right there, and one of them combinations can put the lights out or get a rock and sway the judges, but so far, Caliber coming forward with a beautiful array of attacks. Cyrus, I'll go to you.
Yeah, I mean, just the pressure right now is absolutely phenomenal from Caliber. He wasn't necessarily cage cut in a massive amount, but the combinations landed. That then sets up his shot for the takedown as his opponent's trying to cover the face. Bane, once again, he's been doing fantastic work on the ground and seems to be utilizing it perfectly here this evening.
It's just tough. It is a suffocating experience fighting El Kukui, especially as Iron Michael Chandler, who is a little bit disadvantaged when it does go to the ground comparatively to El Kukui. 2 minutes remaining in this second round. Let's see what Chandler can do, Humble.
And when you do get it to the feet, when you do get it in the range that you want it, when you get to that boxing range, that Chandler becomes dangerous. He's got the elbows, he's got the knees, he's got all sorts of different attacks, and the different attempts of takedowns as well to make it dangerous every single time. So it'll be interesting to see as we go into the third round here, or we come into the last stage of the second round, if Jake Paul can do something. It looks like he can, though. As Caliber gets him down against the fence with some massive shots, Ben.
That is Could this be it? Iron Michael Chandler knocked down by a vicious jumping knee. Not something that you could have anticipated, but something that got delivered. El Kukui now cornering the former Bellator champion.
The iron is rusty right now. Sorry. Go next body shot.
My God, these guys landing just absolutely maximum damage on every single shot that they are throwing. The adjustments that they're making to each other's game is beautiful to watch, Bane, as they continue over the end of this second round.
It is a pleasure calling it and seeing the adjustments that Michael Chandler is attempting to make it's truly good to see, right? He's thinking. You can see that the gears are turning, and he's trying to do what he can, but the problem is El Kukui, equipped with a Kingsman member, is a nightmare inside the octagon. Here's that jumping knee, and there it goes.
I love the fakes as well from El Kukui and Kingsman. He did a fantastic job of faking takedowns, coming back with strikes, confusing his opponent, making sure that he's constantly thinking, I'm looking for Jake Paul. He's kind of waiting for a big shot to miss at the moment in his opportunity to land, but maybe it's right here. Oh my God, he hits him with the body. He's got no stamina left. He chases his opponent across the ring, but not enough, Cyrus.
Yeah, the educated defense of Caliber was on display there, blocking low and blocking high at the vital moments, able to get a stun and a rock and a stun and a knockdown of his own. And honestly, Caliber's actually looking on fire tonight, considering that this is a short notice fight, Bane. This man is showing up and showing out this evening.
The Kingsman member does train very often with one half of tonight's main event. KM Adjust, of course, all of those boys getting in the round stick. Oh! Look at that massive shot right there, though. His head kicks just come from angles that you don't see. Iron Michael Chandler packs the punch late in this third round.
Beautiful work right now, and he's starting to come forward, but we see the body crane kick right there. Michael Chandler needs to get some offense right now, but the stamina's not looking good, Cyrus.
No, it's really, really not, and with the defense of Caliber being so on point, it's going to be tough to land something big as he goes for the suplex, Bane. Big slam from El Kukui.
Are we watching wrestling right now?
This is some all-elite wrestling, potentially massive one-way ticket to Suplex City, and this is exactly where El Kukui wants to keep this fight. On the ground, in the guard, passing, looking for submissions, but this right here, massive back take for Chandler.
Nice work right there. Gets back to his feet. He's got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to get some offense right now and try and win this fight. Caliber looking to counter though and stop that and make sure that he wins this because he's been comfortably in control so far, Cyrus.
Yeah, that he's doing things that are really the Kingsman, kind of specialty techniques. The slip off into the body uppercuts are beautiful as he rips once again. Now going with the uppercuts to the face, the flying knees, trying to keep his opponent guessing. Has to be careful though, Humble, not to walk onto some of those big damaging shots of the power hand of Chandler. Sorry, I forgot his name for a moment.
This is where we see if he's got the discipline that's acquired to go through the end. And so far, it looks like he's about to finish his opponent as he hits him with a spinning back fist pin.
This could be it. Iron Michael Chandler almost got dusted. 60 seconds remain in this fight, and Chandler is just getting shut out in a vicious way. The Kingsman is controlling everything. Now in stacked guard, this is bad news for Bellator's own.
Oh, he's got the toe hold.
The toe hold, literally the first in primetime history, should he get it. He's tracking very, very well. Now decides to chain it, goes for the... Is that a knee bar he's going for? It could be wrong.
Heel hook.
Heel hook, inside heel hook.
Right now. Beautiful
Caliber progressing significantly. You can see, that is it. That is locked in. That is tight. Iron Michael Chandler is going to be forced to tap out to Tony El Kukui Ferguson in the closing seconds of the third round. Beautiful. A finish from KM Caliber.
And he gets it in between his armpit right there. He gets that heel right there and turns it. And obviously the knee joint is not meant to go that way. The ligaments in the knee extend. And as they extend, Michael Chandler in pain screams out and taps Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is you don't, with those submissions, you don't feel pain until it's too late. That leg is going to be needing some recovery. As you see, the full knee extension, the ankle twisting. Beautiful work. There it was. It gives out. The pain was too much, and he taps out. Big win for Caliber, stepping up on short notice. This man, like I said, he is one of those guys from the Kingsman, from Primetime as a whole, that is game to fight anybody, anytime, anywhere, and able to pick up another great W here this evening with a very, very impressive performance there, Bane.
It really was, and the stoppage, of course, is the cherry on top to what was a domination for the majority of the fight. The most consistent guy inside the octagon with this contest was KM Caliber. Iron Michael Chandler definitely had his moments, but holistically, the Kingsman was just on fire, on point, and now on his way to a victory celebration later tonight.
And we see it right now in the chat. Kim Valentine said last week it was first knee bar. This week it's the first heel hook. It looks like this man is a leg collector, and he did get called out in the chat. Yeek has said Tony Ferguson versus Tony Ferguson mirror match. Let's go. He said that earlier on in the chat, and I noticed it, and I thought that fight would be fantastic considering we both see both guys there. That's an interesting one going forward. Maybe the matchmakers can have a little look at that one. But yes, we move on to the next fight. Cyrus.
Yeah, it's been a crazy night of fight from one Kingsman to another. The boss man of Kingsman, KM Tadpole, the human highlight reel himself, always down for absolutely game performances, pushes the pace in every single outing, looks to land those vicious hands, but he is going to have his work cut out for him this evening. These LW boys have been coming through in absolutely emphatic fashion, and nobody has been doing it better from that camp than their LWCIA webcam. This man has some of the most beautiful pivots and footwork you are going to see on this game, and look to see, I imagine he's going to look to utilize that up against this heavy pressure that we know Tadpole is going to put on him there, Bane.
This is a grudge match for the ages. CIA Webcam is a guy that talks the talk and walks the walk every time he steps into the primetime octagon. But when you are fighting the founder and president of the Kingsmen, you got another thing coming. Tadpole looking to silence CIA Webcam tonight. Let's see if he can get it done. Down at 135, TJ Dillashaw versus Rob Font, balanced fighter versus more of a hand-oriented New England Cartel member. Humble, this matchup is sure to impress.
We've got the 5-star boxer from from Font versus the movement, the dexterity, the different array of attacks from TJ Dillashaw. This is going to be a fantastic fight. I am excited for this one. I don't know too much about the Xbox division, but I do know these two are both fantastic competitors, Cyrus.
Yeah, they really, really are. When I tell you that webcam has some of the most beautiful pivots, I mean it, bro. I'm somebody that loves my counter-striking, and, you know, it's a little bit more difficult in the UFC 4 kind of where the game is right now, but he does it as good as anybody. Does it in a way where he pushes forward, as you see, just those pivots, those getting off the center lines. But if anybody's going to be able to counter that, Bane, it's going to be the Kingsman Tadpole. He has some of the most educated pressure striking in the game, and he's going to have to utilize that this evening to get his hand raised.
These are two positional strikers fighting at their best weight classes, presumably to the best of their ability. Oh!
Switch kick to the body absolutely stuns his opponent right there, and that's what you get for head bobbling into the wrong direction as the kick lands on the liver, Cyrus.
Wow. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful rock. Now, this is where he smells blood. When he's got his opponent rocked, he really does a great job of piling on the pressure. Seems to be taking a moment to compose himself. He understands that LW, webcam is an absolutely fantastic kind of footsman, if you will. I don't know how else to say it. He just uses the footsies perfectly. Seems to be marching forward and trying to get some damage of his own right now, Humble, but it just seems really, really back and forth. Both guys seem pretty contenders. Straight in the pocket as he gets the knockdown.
Tadpole down, but not out. Massive moment there for Dillashaw. CIA webcam now pushing and pressing the action. You can see the momentum shifts in this one are apparent. KM Tadpole now fighting off the back foot a little bit again. The positional striking of TJ Dillashaw is not to be looked down upon. And with a fighter like CIA webcam, you got to mind your P's and Q's, as Cyrez would say.
Beautiful work right there, though, from Tadpole as he marches forward, lands a beautiful combination. I'm loving the patience so far from KM Tadpole as his opponent's moving about. He's doing all his bobbing and weaving. He's staying patient, not throwing and picking his shots perfectly, Cyrus.
Yeah, he trains with some of the best kind of defensive fighters on the game. I'll mention his name again. Obviously, the legendary I'm Cold-Blooded has some of the best defense, especially boxing-wise, on the game. His ability to get out the range of shots. So I imagine he's been training with that man and the likes of KM Valentine and obviously Caliber that we saw a little bit earlier on as they continue to throw down in the pocket. These combinations, every single one of them landing Bane perfectly, at least on the block, and some of them bleeding through fairly effectively already over the opening course of this first round.
Absolutely. Again, I'm very, very impressed with KM Tadpole. This is a truly shocking performance to some extent. CIA webcam eating so many more shots than usual, which only gives more credit to the skill and talent of the Kingsman member and founder.
Oh, wow, that's fish kick he's utilized so well from Tadpole. As he marches forward, he drops his opponent against the fence. He's pounding his face into the meshy fence. And can he get a finish right now, Ben?
KM Tadpole has 30 seconds left in this first round. TJ Dillashaw is rocked in front of him. Will he be able to get the stoppage, or will we see the second set of 5 minutes? Cyrez, what do you think CIA webcam needs to do to shift the tide back into his favor? Massive uppercut from Dillashaw.
Stay shot.
My God, he stays committed to that pressure. Oh, this is the fight of the night already, my guys. I mean, we've had some action-packed brawls, but my God, these guys are bringing the action, doing LW and KM proud this evening, Humble. I'm sure.
Incredible.
I mean, I know that you're not as familiar with the Xbox side, but with performances like this, these guys are going to stand out in your mind going forward, my man.
I am absolutely loving this, and so are the 60-plus people in the chat right now. And guys, PrimeTime put on some of the best fights you can get amongst this community. Please share this around. Show your friends. Show anyone that you know that plays this game. This is incredible. Let's get to the second round, Ben.
Rob Font has the power. TJ Dillashaw has the movement. CIA webcam unable to really be effective with it. And you can already see the blocking is pretty much gone. The head health has been cracked. Big little trip right there, though, for Dillashaw.
Nice.
Do you think they're humble that maybe the takedown could be, effective for webcam if he decides to go there right now? Tadpole having such a success on his feet. Not the webcam isn't having moments of his own, but the damage definitely starting to add up through that block and the head health for Dillashaw.
No, stay on the feet.
Stay on the feet. Stay on the feet.
Stay on the feet. Give us the best fight. This style of fight. This style of fight is so nice because it takes one shot from CIA webcam to put the lights out of Tadpole and vice versa. The way these two are fighting right now, it's counter striking at its best. It's patience at its best. It's beautiful to watch. And as the body shot comes through right there, this is being incredible. But there you go. There you see it right there, Cyrus.
Yeah, tries to pull out of the distance. Bane going back with a double Superman punch, not able to land on the block, but trying all he can. Is TJ Dillashaw in the hands of CIA webcam, but he's getting all he can handle, brother.
The problem is, and the question that CIA webcam is going to have to answer is, can he stand in the pocket with Rob Font? You see Tadpole's head health is significantly higher than his. In the event that we are staying in the phone booth, I have to favor the Kingsman. But look at that rear uppercut from Dillashaw equals the equation.
Yeah, he is recognizing the body shots are coming at him thick and fast from the Kingsman, deciding to counter it with an uppercut. Perfectly timed once again, Humble.
Wow, this is incredible. I'm loving the movement so far from webcam, but I'm loving the patience from Tadpole. Every single time he lands to the body, he lands to the head. He's just landed another one, beautiful shot to the head. He's going to try and finish him right now, pushing him back against the fence. Can he do it?
Gosh. KM Tadpole is putting an assault on webcam. Webcam down again. This could be it.
The human highlight reel gets the W. Woo! Big win for KM Tadpole.
The Kingsman founder silences the LW members, CIA webcam, staring up at the bright lights of the primetime ceiling. The chip on his shoulder just got taken off.
Wow, incredible work. When does the tadpole evolve? That's the question. When does the tadpole become the frog? It was an incredible performance right there from Tadpole, and I love that. I love the way he used his patience to pick off the movement. Even though the movement's incredible, it was absolutely beautiful from CIA webcam. There is points of that movement where you are incredibly invulnerable, and that's exactly what Tadpole capitalized on, Ben.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you think about TJ Dillashaw, the former bantamweight king, some people suggest that he's the greatest of all time in the division, and that is largely in part due towards what we've already talked about, the footwork, the positional striking that the Snake brings to the octagon. I did not see a holistic usage of TJ Dillashaw's footwork because KM Tadpole cut off the cage. KM Tadpole suffocated CIA webcam. KM Tadpole did not let webcam get going at his own game. Therefore, Rob Font gets the hand raised.
Yes, so these guys, the way that they approached each other was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Tadpole got that lead, right? And he continued that lead throughout the entire fight, at least in my opinion. Webcam had some big moments of his own. I think that both guys should hold their heads very, very high, though. If we're doing performance awards later, which may be tough with so many fights that have been on the card, but this is easily fight of the night, in my opinion, so far, guys. I think you'll agree, just an absolute barn burner from start to finish.
It's incredible. Incredible. I'm looking forward to as the fights progress, so does the skill level, and what we're seeing right now is adjustments during fights, something I absolutely look for and absolutely love. The footwork adjustments, the hand adjustments, the strategy adjustments. Every single time you're watching these fights and you're seeing adjustments, this is the highest of level play, and this is why these fights are so good. And the people that put the work in, the people that put the effort in the back to produce these events, they need the credit, because these events are amazing.
Truly, truly, they are, my man. And the action is, only really still getting started, my man. We've still got a number of absolutely fantastic fights up ahead of us. The next one going to be Louis up against God Ate My Pig, or TD Gamp, as he has more recently been known. These guys both have been showing to be absolute savages inside the cage. Really, wherever the fight goes, they're being dangerous on the feet, on the ground. This one is going to be an action-packed one. A lot to live up to from that last one, of course, but nevertheless, these guys are going to try and bring the action with the exact same emphatic fashion.
I will say to the dozens watching around the globe, Louis versus God Ate My Pig, what a task to follow up KM Tadpole versus LWCIA webcam. But if anybody can do it, it is these two. At 170, we're looking at Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman versus the notorious Conor McGregor. We all know McGregor up at 170 has a few disadvantages. Physically smaller, The head health is a little bit more compromised. The power does not translate up 3 divisions. And against a monster like Kamaru Usman, with the strength and the athleticism that the champion has, I feel bad for God Ate My Pig, but I know once that left hand lands, we could be looking at a notorious victory.
This is one of the things in this fight, okay? I mean, this is the first time we've seen Louis not use Chael Sonnen. He's not using the bad guy in this one. But he is up against the best grappler that he has faced within Primetime to date, at least in my opinion, in God Ate My Pig. Obviously trying to use that in reverse this evening. Conor McGregor seems to be his pick, and he's going to try to land that left hand with, you know, pinpoint precision. This is really, really going to be going to be showing us where Louis is should he get this fight to the ground. Is he going to be able to get that work done like he has in previous performances there, Humble?
And what we're going to see right now as well is 93% of people in the chat believe that God Ate My Pig is going to win this fight in the betting lines. So can he get it done? Can he come forward, and can Usman use the power, use the wrestling, and use this exact technique right now to win this fight?
The Nigerian Nightmare hoisting Conor McGregor over the shoulders and slamming him down to the canvas. Not a place you want to be if you're the Notorious One. 330 with which to work. This is bad news for McGregor.
Nice reversal right there. Bit of a mistake right there. And he gets flipped over, and God Ate My Pig looks comfortable right now on top.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He is such a great grappler, but so is Anakin. You know, Louis has shown with his Chael Sonnen pick that he is just dangerous on the mat, no matter where the positions are, whether he be on top or on bottom. Obviously, with Kamaru Usman, he wants to be on top, securing these positions and raining down the ground and pound, trying to wear out Conor McGregor there, Bane. So should they hit the feet again, he doesn't quite have that pop in the punch like he did a little bit earlier on.
It is the smart approach to a talented striker like God Ate My Pig. Try to disadvantage him as much as you can, and attacking the cardio of Conor McGregor is the easiest way to do that. Now McGregor back on the feet, 2 minutes with which to work, and still a lot of health remaining. Let's see if Usman can rise to the challenge. Great clinch right here, some knees. Can he trip him? Yes, he can, Humble.
Nice kick to the face, but then I was about to say the clinches for me for Usman is where he is so dangerous. That clinch work, the mixing up with the takedowns, the striking, but mainly the clinch when you can get someone near the fence. Where the hell did that axe game come from right there? My God. Wow, I learn something new every day.
God Ate My Pig trying to land these combinations. 1, 2... body, roundhouse, jab into the lead, push kick. This is exactly what he needs. He's not, you know, following his opponent, as we were talking about a little bit earlier on there, Humble. He's cage cutting beautifully, but another big slam from Kamaru Usman.
I'm liking the work so far. He's doing a great job of neutralizing God Ate My Pig. Well, Conor McGregor's attributes, which is the heavy boxing, the striking, right? He's using Usman very, very well, using the grappling, using the clinch, and using an axe kick, which I've never seen Usman do in my life. Where the hell did that come from? Who the hell? Which UFC did give Usman an axe kick? My God.
Would love to. It's sort of like how Daniel Cormier has that jumping switch kick. He threw it once, and then now but what a great first round for the Nigerian Nightmare. You can see the striking was very even, but I think the control time is the story of the first 5 minutes. However, again, it's so hard to know as commentators how the judges will see the first round.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. Sorry.
No, as you were saying, brother.
100%. It's really difficult, especially when you're calling a fight, because you just remember moments. That's kind of how you call these fights. You remember the moments, and so far for me, the moments came for Anakin. I believe God Ate My Pig's got to mix it up. He's got to keep it on the feet, in my opinion. Use the power. Use Conor McGregor where he's good. And he's getting thrown right there, but back to his feet right now, Cyrus.
Yeah, back to feet, and this is where he's going to want to continue to do his work. His stamina's still looking very good. He's done an excellent job of mitigating the damage in the first round when they hit the mat. And what an uppercut lead hook combination, ripping every single which way he can there, being scattergunning these techniques on an injured Kamaru Usman.
This is a massive moment for McGregor. Usman made the mistake of level changing right into an uppercut. That chin got cracked, but he does get the takedown. Let's see, lets him back up. Obviously wary of the up kick that connected in that first round. Doesn't want that one touching the chin again, Humble.
Yeah, not all. Exactly what I was talking about. This is where God Ate My Pig wants to keep it. He needs to concentrate on keeping it off the mat. Concentrate on giving himself a chance, really. Oh my God, he gets hit and he takes taken down into side control now, Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, look, and he needs this. This is where he needs to be quite clearly. Gamp is doing just, you know, fantastic work on the feet and really starting to light up his opponent in any given opportunity he can. The wrestling is where he needs to stay committed to, trying to stop that damage and getting some of his own off should he get the opportunity to. The axe kick once again is there for Kamaru Usman, partially blocked by Conor McGregor, now landing some big shots of his own. And let's not sleep on the power of Kamaru Usman. It doesn't take too many to get your opponent's head health completely obliterated there, Bane.
Absolutely, and this is just rinse and repeat for the Nigerian Nightmare. Have some success on the feet and then go to the ground. Level change. It's the bread and butter of the incredibly accredited wrestler. Now you're looking at these short elbows in the inside. Humble. They don't look vicious, but boy, are they when they're connecting. Just under 2 minutes remain in this second round.
And what we're seeing right now is martial arts. We're seeing the better martial artist, the guy with the more tools, kind of utilizing them tools really well. Anakin's doing a great job of utilizing the character with more weapons, whereas Got It My Pig is looking for the boxing, he's looking for the big shot. But this round so far is an interesting one because we do have rocks and knockdowns from each of them. So it'll be interested to see how the judges score this, or who can end this last minute with a question mark, with an exclamation mark, sorry, and say this was my round.
And trying to take the judges, you know, kind of maybe indecisiveness out of it, like you say, trying to add that exclamation mark on the top, add the cherry on top of a, you know, very, very close round, I would say so far. There was a big moment a little bit earlier on from God Ate My Pig, of course. It does look like Usman is a little bit concerned on the feet due to the combinations coming his way. Understandably so, though, Bane. I mean, oh my God!
Oh, it comes again!
Oh,
the axe kick from hell. I do stand corrected.
just...
I have just watched that axe kick against Kobe Covington, so I do stand corrected. I don't know my stuff as well as I thought I did.
10 minutes of welterweight action, not a lot of it going towards Conor McGregor. He's had his moments, and the striking numbers feel very close, but when you just look at the action, I don't know. This feels like Usman's the one that's really dominating again. You see Usman getting clipped right here, though. There are moments for the Notorious One, but let's see if he can string it together consistently enough to shut out the Nigerian Nightmare.
It's a difficult one because damage is scored as the highest priority in these fights, and obviously getting a knockdown in that second round might have actually give God Ate My Pig the round, so who knows how that one's going to get judged, but it's definitely either 1-1 or 2-0 to Anakin so far. So Conor McGregor needs to pull out something right now, either win the round or not get a knockout right now, Cyrus.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's 1-1 going into this one at least. But like you say, it's very, very hard to judge it during the fight. He did get that massive rock and knockdown in that second round, so it is still all to play for. But with Usman staying committed to this takedown in the third round, maybe a little bit of an uphill battle for him there, Bane, as he finds himself on his back. Although he has just worked his way back to his feet very, very nicely, with still a lot of time to work.
Shots right there, and if anybody can create the success and rally, it is God Ate My Pig. You can see right there now avoiding the takedown, going for a clinch of his own. Let's see if he can get the striking working. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remain in this fight.
Nice leg kick right there. I'd like to see McGregor use that distance really well. Make Usman, counter Usman a bit more. Obviously, Usman is constantly going for takedowns, but we're seeing it right now, exactly what I said. Countering them takedowns and trying to punish his opponent. And maybe God Ate My Pig and have a last rally in the last 3 minutes of this fight, Cyrus.
Yeah, when you get that damage off, obviously it changes the entire thing. The top control doesn't add up to much when you've, you know, kind of gone face down on the canvas momentarily. So with the Conor McGregor power, you know that it's only going to take one clean connection to really sit down on that shot and send Usman flying. Although he is looking very, very good, Anakin, and we can't see his stamina there, Bane, so we don't know if he's actually in a position where he's going to be able to get gassed out and caught with that high vulnerability.
You know, you think about the takedowns that Conor McGregor has defended in this third and final round. That does wear on the cardio to some extent, being unsuccessful with the attempts. And once again, Conor McGregor avoids being taken down to the mat. Who knows what Anakin's cardiovascular system looks like after all of these failed entries.
Nice work right there, though, from McGregor. Firing back with some... He's getting some block-breaking combinations off at the moment, but maybe it's a bit too late before that lands. But the takedown defense so far has been incredible in this third round.
It's
Cyrus.
needed to be, right, brother? It's needed to be, because, I mean, Anakin has been all over it. Lovely, straight into the lead upper. That really is adding the cherry on top.
Oh,
now,
oh
my God!
Oh my gosh.
And this is where the
my pig is getting eaten alive as we approach the final minute of this third and final round. And once again, Kamaru Usman landing on the inside, pocket fighting, not favoring the Irishman in this one.
Oh, he gets caught again with the straight right. He's backing up. The axe comes through. He catches him with the elbow. Conor McGregor come forward. Got it. My pig's got 20 seconds right now to try and win this fight. And he's decided.
God ate my pig, resilient to the end. 10 seconds remain. He needs to make one big shot.
Again.
But gets stunned for his troubles.
Oh, tries the elbow.
Nigerian Nightmare took Conor McGregor to the deep waters in this one. I have to imagine with such a strong third round, this will be a potential 29-28. I think 30-27 is the more likely scorecard. On two judges' scorecards, It was 29-28 on a single scorecard. That was probably solidly a motto.
Yeah, very difficult to judge that second round, as we said earlier on. But you know, it's a great fight. Got it. My pig comes out on the short end of the stick there. But what a performance for you, man. There, it was a great fight. I've never seen Usman throw an axe kick on this game ever once in my life, and I've just seen him throw 4. So. What an amazing fight, Cyrus. What an amazing one.
Really, really was, brother. Really was. I mean, God ate my pig having a lot of adversity in that fight. Obviously, there's a lot of clinch attempts, a lot of takedown attempts, but that's what you expect to see out of a Kamaru Usman player. When somebody picks Kamaru Usman, those clinch, they're using that power, using that takedown and that top control threat that he has there, Humble. It'd kind of almost be silly not to take that route with such a dominant wrestler.
Yeah, 100%. And like we talked about earlier in the fight, it's about being a mixed martial artist. When you give your opponent more tools to worry about, when you worry about the clinch, when you have to worry about the takedown, when you have to worry about axe kicks coming out of nowhere, and then the power and the defensive ability of Usman as well. He's got a great recovery, a great health stats. It adds a lot more problems than just boxing or just a few boxing with a few kicks here and there. The kickboxing of Conor McGregor, even though he has the power, even though he has the kickboxing, you do not have to worry about takedowns. You don't have to worry about clinch. You literally just have to worry about the striking of him, and it adds an element of comfortableness, and that's exactly what Usman did, and that's how he got the win in that fight, Ben.
Exactly right. So just to lead us on to this next one very, very briefly, because they've actually just loaded in, and I'm trying to get that going for you guys very, very quickly. They did not waste any time at all. I do apologize for missing the opening couple of seconds. Was not on me, but Fadinator, EK Issues, already throwing down in the bantamweight divisions. Poo-poo to these guys for starting a little bit quickly. I understand they highly anticipated wanting to get into this fight and showing who they, showing their skills against a very, very dangerous opponent. Both of them are standing across from a dangerous man.
Yeah, just make sure you're on screen, guys, when we do that, obviously. EK Issues, though, and Fadinator gets caught with a straight elbow right there, and then the straight to follow it up, and that could have been over very, very quickly there, Cyrus, as Yang catches him coming forward.
Yeah, these guys, they both come from incredibly well-respected and dangerous camp. TD, Fadinator, up against EK Issues. These guys have fantastic striking, a well-versed grappling game should they need to, but it looks like they're willing to completely duke them out on the feet very, very quickly, Humble, not wasting any time finding their rhythm.
No, I love the work from Fadinator right here. He's hitting the block breaking combinations, the combinations that come through the guard against the Cody Garbrandt.
That is, look at this. Piotr No Mercy Jan is truly a nightmare matchup in terms of this game with how quick he is and how powerful he is. You pair that with the low chin of Cody Garbrandt. Man, it's just, you see the issues that EK Issues is already having.
Oh my God, and this is the thing, if you throw 1,000 and you land 500, you're still going to put your opponent out there. It doesn't matter, as long as you have the ability to throw 1,000, and that's exactly what Ian's doing right now. He's throwing a lot out there, and he's landing a lot as well, Cyrus.
Yeah, he's gone 0 to 100 in 0.01 seconds. The guy has come out of the gates like a bat out of hell trying to land these combinations. We see Garbrandt trying to go for those pull counters, but a lot of them are landing square on the chin of the Elite King. This is bad news for EK Issues.
Gosh.
Bane, he has to be worried here. This is almost it, isn't it?
That has got to be it. What a shutout. What an insane shutout performance from Fadinator. EK Issues was absolutely steamrolled down at 135. Cody No Love Garbrandt faced No mercy and got absolutely none.
And we've seen it earlier on in the card as well, where one of the guys came out and just didn't let the guy off at all. He just came out and threw it again. I think it was against the Max Holloway and the Conor McGregor, and he just came out and absolutely obliterated his opponent. He is not an MMA fight. He's a sprinter. That's exactly what he is. Adelaide came out and just sprinted at him with combinations. He went deals. I want to see the fight stats because I want to see how many shots he threw in that 3 minutes.
Yeah,
that we got to see. Hopefully they get to show me. I'm going to reckon between 140 to 150 strikes, but we'll see it in a second, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, look, 3 minutes, 15 seconds in the first round, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're right. He's probably put the output of like a 3-round fight in those, 3 minutes of that first round. Fadinator not wasting any time this evening. I mean, Bane, as we were loading in, we had barely had enough time to switch across to the fight. These guys were jumping at the bit, already fighting as we were giving them their introductions.
They wanted to stand and bang, as some would say. Just bleed is the motto for several EK members. EK issues, no exception to it. Love watching him go out there and do his thing, but Fadinator just had his number in this one. Bantamweight goes to the red corner in this one. Will have to be a little bit of a going back to the drawing board for the Elite King.
He bets him for the next fight as well. You got 18 seconds, Ginger Ninja versus Simple Benny, as we go into that fight very soon. But you've got 9 seconds to get your bets in. You've got 100% Simple Benny at the moment. Is anyone going to put any money on Ginga?
Mate, I mean, people sleep on Ginger. That man is Fight of the Year candidate in his title opportunity he had very, very recently. But Simple Benny obviously is a staple of the community. Has been around for a very, very long time. So I understand why people may be leaning towards him a little bit. TMF Ginger, a young gun on the climb, though, getting more and more confidence as he goes out there. When his confidence matches his ability there, Bane, this kid is going to take over. He is a problem with the hands in this game.
An absolute problem, but some people would say that there is a solution courtesy of his opponent. Let's see if he can figure out that puzzle tonight. A lot of pressure when you get this prime time card, right? You are the fight before the co-main event of the evening. You have to show up and show out, and that's exactly what Simple Benny plans to do. You can see the existing rivalry between these two competitors. 11 wins for Benny, 2 for Ginga Ninja. Looking at their record, it would seem that Ginga Ninja is the one that has an uphill battle in front of him, but Humble, you never know with records. It really is without context.
Yeah, 100%. We've seen somebody earlier on who was 4-1 on his opponent get obliterated for 2 rounds, then come back and win, but at the same time he was getting obliterated for 2 rounds. So one adjustment there, and that guy's got that win. So you don't really know. People know each other as well. When you play each other, you've got understanding, and that's the key. You understand what your opponent does. So adjustments can be made, and some people don't make them in ranked. They make them in live fights. Nice. We've got Max Holloway versus Aldo right now. Obviously, Aldo likes the Thai boxing, the kicks, and you've got the pressure from Max Holloway that can come forward and land the boxing combinations, the dexterity and the kicks, the spinning elbows. He's got pretty much everything and non-stop action. He can keep throwing as it comes forward, but we'll see who utilizes that game plan better as we move forward in this fight.
One thing that always impresses me about Jose Aldo, the king of Rio, is how quick he can be with his strikes. Definitely something that could give Simple Benny cause for alarm if Ginga Ninja can get those strikes coming out of the gate fast.
I'm really liking the rhythm so far of Simple Benny. The way he's kind of edging into the combinations, the way he's using the jab to break his opponent down to move forward, even hitting that block left and right, coming forward and just catching a few shots right now. But this is going to pay dividends if he keeps this up and keeps hitting that block, because the block's gone, the head goes.
Oh, nice lead uppercut from Ginger Ninja. As you say, though, Max Holloway taking the center of the cage seems to be finding a nice little rhythm from himself at the moment, not being overzealous, picking his shots very, very well there, Bane.
Absolutely. It's a tentative first couple minutes of this opening round, but that is exactly what Simple Benny does, right? He lulls you to sleep with the rhythm and then catches you when you aren't expecting it, something that Ginga Ninja has to be acutely aware of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, I mean, I am liking the leg kick attacks from Ginger Ninja at the moment. I think that he would definitely need a little bit more of that. Continue to rip to that lead leg of Max Holloway. Although he does have a high switch stance, it gets your opponent to think about something else and really allows you to go back up top there, Bane.
Right there, checked from Max plus Holloway. 9th Island native knocks down the king of Rio. Jose Aldo's nose is rose, courtesy of the strikes landed from Holloway. Humble, this is looking a little bit bad for Ginga Ninja, just in terms of holistic success. It seems that Simple Benny's in his flow state. He's in his rhythm.
But there's Ginger Ninja ripping it there. Bane, this is what he does. No matter how his opponent's coming onto him, he always finds a way to get the damage done. And this kid gets confidence as he starts to land his combinations. The first round's normally the most difficult one for him, and there's potentially another 10 minutes on the clock, although he's eaten a lot of combinations from Holloway.
Ginga Ninja trusting the chin of Aldo right there and paying for it. Greatly humble.
Nice work. Cage cutting. He's not pushing forward with reckless abandon, trying to find those opportunities. Nice jab into the hook. Slip. Hook from Aldo, though. That's a big miss. Obviously, Simply Benny finding the mark at the very, very end of that round. Potentially saved by the bell there, Bane, as he gets that beautiful, beautiful counter off, circling that big spin to the body.
It's just a step ahead. It's a step ahead is what it seems for Simple Benny. Ginga Ninja definitely is having his moments, but the trusting of his chin as opposed to maybe head movement, hiding behind the guard a little bit better, getting out of the way. I just defensively not entirely cognizant as we approach this second round. Simple Benny really on fire, but eats a shot partially right there.
Yeah, that head health definitely becoming problematic. Ginger trying to answer back with some combinations of his own. He is eating a lot of this on the block, and maybe one well-timed counter, maybe all it's going to take. But right now, I mean, Simple Benny just seems to be picking his shots so beautifully there that it's going to be a tough one to get if he continues to approach the fight in this calculated fashion there.
What's interesting is Ginga Ninja is making good reads, just not consistently enough, right? He's having a couple spots where it seems that he knows what Simple Benny wants to do before he does it, but the problem is, if you only do that once every 10 exchanges, those other 9 are going to catch up, Humble.
Yeah, 100%. The Simple Benny's so calculated at the moment. I'm loving the way he's using his attacks. He never overexerts himself in any situation whatsoever and just eats away at his opponent as he moves forward with a overpowered fire like that. Max Holloway, this is a dangerous fighter right now.
Wow.
Got his opponent hurt there, being really, his head health, continuously flashing, continuing to pepper him forward. That takedown attempt, nothing doing. Simply Benny all over it.
The accuracy of Simple Benny is shocking to me. He has not missed in what feels like forever, pumping that jab out, finding the range, and then landing crisp combinations, right? One upstairs, one downstairs to the midsection, and then a check left hook right around the guard. He just flew through the air.
Oh, big shot right there as he catches him going back to the fence. Can he finish his opponent? He's trying to go for the flashy finish right now as he gets his opponent back, hits the switch kick to the body. Can he get him out of there, Cyrus?
He is feeling himself, has to be careful not to play with his food, but a beautiful Superman punch after the miss. But that's why you don't play with your food. Ginger answering back with a big combination, although not able to follow through with the finish. These guys are putting on a really fun fight, Humble, but I have to say, if you're Simply Benny, after getting rocked a couple of big times like that, this man needs to get the finish when he sits him down.
This has got to be it right here, right now. Ginga Ninja, how is he going to hang on through this barrage of strikes? Somehow, Ginga Ninja is still here.
You shall not finish me, he says, as Simple Benny. I just want to go back to a point where Simple Benny was hurt there and he did an amazing little strategy. He stood his ground. He did not move, making it easier for him to predict the combination, easier for him to defend, something people need to learn on. Great strategy there from Simple Benny as Ginga Ninja tried to rally.
All action over these opening 10 minutes of the bout. Now only 25 seconds, and it looks like Simple Benny is putting the work together. He could potentially get a finish in this neon belly, raining down ground and pound there, Bane.
There goes the block, but the head health just enough to hang on. 5 seconds remain. I think Ginga Ninja can make it to this third and final round somehow. 10 minutes of one-way traffic. Simple Benny just simply stunning Ginga Ninja in these first 2 rounds. Ginga Ninja definitely has had his moments, but more often than not, it is punishment from Simple Benny.
And he stayed so composed, and he's not really exerted himself in the sense of coming out of his shell. He's used the combinations really well, efficiently, as I'd like to say, from Simple Benny. And as soon as he played with his food, as soon as he just decided, you know what, I'm going to try and be a bit cocky, he got rocked. So hopefully he learns from that. If he learns from that, he might get him out of here in a flashy style in the first place. But he can't let Ginga Ninja come back into this fight.
He really, really can't. And I mean, some of these combinations that Ginger's throwing his way are a little bit problematic. But this is how you use Max Holloway. You see a lot of people using Max Holloway in an incorrect fashion. This guy is putting it all together, pinpoint precision, volume, everything landing on the button, Bane. And yeah, just a picture-perfect performance for him so far.
This is going to be it. He's elbowing him.
How is Ninja still here? You can see the head health of Jose Aldo is gone. That is it. No, this has to be it. This has to be it.
Oh, he's... Oh,
no way.
Yeah. Wow.
That's it. It was a merciful stoppage midway through the third round. Simple Benny steamrolls Ginga Ninja in what became a hard fight to watch. All love to Ginga Ninja. Respect to the durability and survivability to stay in through 12 minutes. But Simple Benny is just on a different level tonight.
Yeah, shades of Valentina Shevchenko versus Andrade there. That was brutal. At the end, getting them elbows to the head. Obviously, you don't want to see Jose Aldo go out like that, but good effort from Ginga Ninja. Great performance from Simple Benny, and he deserves some top competition after that one, in my opinion. Chris.
I know, I completely agree with you. I mean, these guys at the top end of the rankings within Primetime MMA. Obviously, Ginga Ninja, former title challenger. Simple Benny has been a title challenger a number of times in the past as well throughout Season 1 and I believe entering into Season 2. And with performances like that, it's going to be hard to refuse the man an opportunity at another shot at that belt there, Bane.
Absolutely. That was a statement that was made. The press is printed. Simple Benny knocking on the door of something big next. However, for us, next on Primetime MMA 32 is the co-main event of the evening. Hearts versus Kai.
What a fight we have right now. Let me jump into this one. This is the PlayStation side. This is two guys I know so well. Obviously, KIAW is a fantastic competitor, an ESFL competitor a few times. Kart's one of the guys who used to come into my stream a lot. I believe he's a 14-year-old kid, and he's a fantastic grappler. You can see these two have a record against each other of 17 and 11, but the grapple in this one is what I'm going to be looking for. It's going to be a fantastic fight, and I'm looking for Kars to use Poirier to try and keep him on the floor, and KIAW to try and keep it standing.
That's interesting that you say that. We've seen a lot of wrestling out of KIAW in Primetime MMA, and he's shown to have the grappling chops of his own, but as you say, you're very much more well-versed with the PlayStation side of things, and maybe we're going to see his opponent try to implement some of that thug jitsu that we saw a little bit earlier on in the event there, Bane, and we know how dangerous Dustin Poirier is no matter where this fight goes.
There is a reason why he is nicknamed the Diamond, the Louisiana, and just dropped the KO edition of his hot sauce recently. Let's see if that knockout flavor enters the 155-pound division under the Primetime Octagon tonight.
And you are 100% correct. KIAW is a fantastic grappler. He's out-grappled me a few times, and he's a great grappler. But that's where Carter's brilliant.
I imagine that these guys knowing each other, that's probably going to play a factor. Something that would be interesting to note, of course, is KIAW with that pick of Volkanovski has a 5-star leg kick should he decide to implement it. Seems to be having a little bit of connection problems with them at the moment. Hopefully that decides to settle. Would be it would be a real shame should that impact the co-main event between two top-level competitors.
It's not what you want to see, but we'll see if these two can kind of get a stable connection as we move forward. But luckily we've got... No, it's still jumping.
Yeah, that seems to be stabilizing in between the McDonald's Wi-Fi intermittent this evening. He's paid for his 99p burger and it's occasionally coming back. I don't know. Yeah, they're going to quit. I'm not completely understanding on that one. Bit anticlimactic there, guys. We'll move back on. Hopefully we'll try and see what was going wrong with that and whether they have just got a problem connecting to each other or what it may be. But of course, that's a little bit anticlimactic between two top competitors. I think that what we'll have to do with it, of course, is just move on to our main event of the evening, my guys, which is between the Xbox champion in KM Adjust standing up against obviously a top contender currently riding a 5-fight win streak, 7-1 within the promotion, BSD T Drivers. This guy is an absolute savage, and he's going to need to display that savagery this evening there, Humble, up against the current Xbox champion in Adjust. This man is shown to be an absolute killer in the cage.
100%. I cannot wait for this main event. I do not know much about the Xbox side, but I've heard great things, and obviously the Kingsman camp have just came through and delivered time after time after time. They're in nearly every single big card fight that you can see. They're all over the ESFL, they're everywhere, so these guys have a great camp, and it's going to be difficult to beat them. But tell me a bit more about the guy facing in this evening.
So BSD drivers obviously training with the guys at Body Snatchers Degree. As their moniker would suggest, they have some of the most beautiful bodywork on the game. They really do like to mix it all together with the hands and the feet over there, Bane. Of course, we know that KM Adjust, though, is a man that really needs the full 5 rounds to make his adjustments. That first round, much like a Vasil Lomachenko, he does like to just make his reads, make those adjustments, and then look to fully employ them as that fight continues.
Absolutely a tactician through and through. The Kingsman Adjust capturing the title, of course, recently, looking to make the defense tonight. You have to think, riding the momentum of KM Tadpole's emphatic victory just a couple moments ago, KM Adjust has got to be feeling confident, but T-Drivers is an animal. At the end of the day, this will be a contest to watch. Looks like the ping is all right, which is a bit of a step up from our co-main event of the evening.
Yeah, unfortunately, those things cannot be helped, but definitely a little bit anticlimactic. But if there's a fight to get the pace going again, get the hype in this card, it's going to be the main event. These two guys, like I said, are pure savages in the cage, and I mean that in the best and most endearing fashion that I can, Humble. Especially with their fighting styles, their fan-friendly favorites. They have the ability to grapple, but you often see these guys duke it out on the feet with absolutely fantastic precision and combinations coming all together.
Wow. One thing to mention before we really get started, 85% of the viewing audience thinks that KM Adjust will be and still at the end of the evening. 7% now think T-Drivers can capture the title in this one. A lot of support for the reigning and defending champion.
As it should be as well. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's got to be something to do with the fight up against Ginger Ninja. It was such a fantastic fight that they put on that this guy has garnered a lot of support within the community. Obviously, we've seen some of the trailers that Kai was able to put together for him leading into this fight as well, and he's starting out pretty quickly for Adjust. We don't normally see him open up this quickly in the first round.
I'm really liking the double jab at the moment and the use of that from Drivers. He's doing a fantastic job of keeping him at the end. And this is a 5-round fight. These guys need to be careful of blowing with load in the first round. They're going in and out movements at the moment, but very much a great block breaking strategy at the moment with that double jab, Ben.
It really is working wonders and opening up the arsenal that KM just needs to against a power puncher like McGregor. But again, Dustin Poirier has so much power in his own right. But right there, the Irishman announcing himself against the champion, stunning him.
Beautiful work right now. He's pressing his opponent back, throws the hook, he misses it coming out. He's got him against the fence door and he hits him with that uppercut. He's got him against...
Oh my God, he's handing out the beam. It's down, this could be it.
As Pudgy would say, beam pies is being handed out this evening. T-Driver's not wasting any time, Bean. Oh my God, brother.
The current champion is getting absolutely smacked midway through this first round. He needs to compose himself, stay patient, and oh my gosh.
Wow, this is incredible. What a performance from the challenger so far.
And talk about a strong start. That first minute was all KM Adjust, again, using that double jab, finding his range, dictating the pace. But T-Drivers has just snatched all of the momentum, the air out of the sails of the reigning, defending primetime champion. Once again, eats an uppercut. But look at this.
And this is what Adjust does. He finds his moment, then he will pressure forward. Has to be careful. His best rounds are rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5. Obviously, Conor McGregor coming out incredibly quick. T-Drivers training with some of the best pressure strikers in the game there, with the likes of Pudgy McCabe, Cliffy McTacos, and the such from the BSD boys. Obviously, fully displaying that forward pressure and precision this evening. My God, Humble, that is incredible.
Yeah, he pulls out the Leo machine, a front kick to the face right there, the anti-Sylvanesque smash to the face from Vitor Belfort. What a little shot that was. But it's the double jab for me. If you keep watching his jab, it's hard to deal with. As soon as that jab's in your face, it ruins all your combinations. When you go to fire a 3-piece or 4-piece, that double jab counters that perfectly, and that's what he's using as his main weapon at the moment. It's perfect timing, perfect precision, and that's set up everything else, Ben.
This is one of the most impressive first rounds in a primetime MMA title fight in a very, very long time. Massively outstriking the current champion. 18 significant strikes to 2. 2 of 28 strikes for the Kingsman. What a tough start for the reigning defending champion tonight. Wow.
Absolutely insanity. Was not expecting T Drivers to turn up like this. We knew that these guys were going to turn up and turn out, but what a pace in that first round. Now we see if KM Adjust can do as his name would suggest and make those adjustments to try and get his opponent to get that some of that respect back, Humble, and maybe get him to back up a little bit, stop that forward pressure that's been so heavy in that first round.
And I was waiting for the adjustment of the head movement from the double jab, and he come out and showed right there, exactly. And that's exactly what I was waiting for right there. He hits him with a beautiful...
Knocks the challenger down.
Wow, what a fight we have right now. Ben, the fight is on.
Oh, beautiful adjustments here from KM Adjust. As the name would suggest, this is what he can't do, though. He can't back up. He cannot give T Drivers the space and the octagon. He needs to be pushing forward a little bit more, use that thug jitsu that Dustin the Diamond Poirier is known for. Currently, Conor McGregor doubling up Dustin Poirier on total strikes. Massive right hook right there, Cyrus.
Yeah, and there's the lead hook, leans into that one. Although, oh my God.
Look at the diversity of strikes from T Drivers. The challenger is announcing himself against the champion through the first 7 minutes.
And he has definitely made adjustments. We can see the adjustments right now. It looks like a completely different fight. He's clearly had some of the KM guys in his corner shouting at him, telling him, head movement, head movement. You need to move that head and counter your opponent. You can't just stand there and take that block breaking technique. And at the moment, it might be too much, Cyrus. That's the problem.
Yeah, it really could be. The damage is really adding up for T Drivers. I will say, though, KM Adjust, this has been one of the things in the past, is this man's first round is always a little bit problematic. He really does come to life as the fight comes together. The longer this fight goes, the better he may do. But what head movement from T Drivers whilst injured there being to just about narrowly avoid that finishing shot.
The wherewithal from the challenger against the champion. 2 minutes remain in this second round, and T Drivers pushing forward through the Poirier. Pressure now landing to the chin of Dustin. This is just, I mean, every guy's having moments in big ways. This is not like a close back and forth. It's just a momentum swing across the spectrum. Again as the champion.
McGregor is leading the dance at the moment, lands an uppercut. He gets a pull counter, though. He just misses his. Poirier needs one big one. He needs to get himself off the fence, in my opinion, Cyrus.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So being pressed behind these black lines is problematic, especially with pull counters like that. And that's it. And new BSD's first champion.
Champion out and new. Conor McGregor silences Dustin the Diamond Poirier to capture the primetime title.
First body snatchers degree member picking up their belt. What a performance from that man right there. And if he's able to put on the heat on his opponents just like that, my God, everybody's going to have a problem. He's only ever lost one fight, and he said he's not losing another, showing that this evening with an emphatic performance, Humble. My God, did he show up this evening.
And what an event we've had this evening. Did he show up? He did. He came out. He came with a double jab. Had a great strategy. Broke his opponent's block. Countered him when he started moving off the center line for that double jab. And then when his opponent made adjustments, he made adjustments towards his opponent's adjustments and got him out of there in the second round. What a fight, Ben.
It was a tactical matchup, a display of pure power and just determination. T Drivers faced the adversity early, then took that first round by storm as it progressed. KM Adjust, again, as the name suggests, right? He tried his best, and you can see he had success. There were stuns, there were knockdowns, there were significant strikes coming from the Kingsman, but the challenger absolutely stunned the world tonight.
100%.
Look at that shutout, brother. Look at that shutout. You never, and I'm just going to say, you never see Adjust have that low of a land percentage. 29 out of 144 total strikes, 5 significant strikes out of 51 total attempted. Still was able to get 3 stuns and a knockdown from those 5 significant strikes, but I think the story of this evening is just the absolute non-stop savage pressure that T-Drivers was able to put on, doing himself and the BSD boys proud as can be. We know that KM Adjust will be back better than ever, I'm sure, going back to the lab with those KM boys, but I mean, nothing much more can be said, my guys. That was a crazy main event.
Honestly, it has been a pleasure to call this card tonight. I've absolutely loved it. There's been a lot of fights, there's been a lot of ups and downs, but do you know what? I never got tired through any of this. This has been incredible. Thank you all, compares. Thank you to everybody watching in the chat. Without you, we couldn't do this. Thank you for your continuous support from Primetime, and make sure to tune into the next event. It is going to be great. Ben, I hand it to you.
Have to say, to echo the thoughts from Humble. Again, Humble killing it. Everybody, let's give some love to Humble in the chat. Welcome to Primetime, Humble. Absolutely loved calling fights with you again. And a big shout out, as always, to the Primetime community. These events would not happen without you. We truly hope you enjoy. This card was massive, but boy, did it deliver, Cyrus. I'll let you sign us out.
Oh, it really, really did, my guys. And, you know, once again, shout out to Bane and, of course, the David Tunt doing a fantastic job this evening. Absolute pleasure to have both of you on the commentary with Mr. Humbledink over here. Make sure to give these guys a check out on all of the socials, whether it be Twitter, Twitch, and the such. We will be back now, of course, on Monday with our Fight Night card. I believe it's Fight Night 19, bringing the action, starting your week off in style. As always, the Primetime guarantee, as Bane has said many, many times, is that these fights are going to be as lit as you could possibly imagine. And once again, this card living up to all the hype. Until then, though, we appreciate your continued support. Much love. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.